caught up with me now. 1, 2, check Chuffy 1, 2. Good, okay. Hi, you're with Scott. I'm Super Chuffer. Hi, I don't know why I said it in that voice. Hi, you're with Scott. I'm Super Chuffer. It's midnight. It's always midnight. This is your right ear and your left ear. We're in mono. Good to see you in chat. Curtin, Lisa, Slinky Socks, Claire Muir, Bad Gambler. Got some regulars. Paul Taylor, Follow Frame. Curious Cat. I don't know, just say you already. Star Glazer Lass. Janice. I believe today will be a little quieter than it was yesterday because, you know, the Nicola Bully stuff seems to draw them in, doesn't it? And then they all have the, oh, I think this, I'd say that. Oh, I think this, I say that. Well, today we're going to look at, are you a goth, you chuffer? Am I a goth? Who's a goth? Which of us are goths? Which of us are jocks? This is the Jock-Nerd Prep-Goth test. Got that right? Jock-Nerd Prep-Goth test. Are you jockey? Like a jock, like, do you like your sports? Or are you a nerd? Do you like your Star Wars? Actually, Star Wars isn't that nerdy, is it? Prep. I don't know what prep means. Or are you a goth? We'll find out. We're going to look at what the different things mean. And we're going to take the test. Yay! It's in the description below, but I'll give it you in the comments. So, in this, you can open up the test yourself in chat there on your desktop if you watch it on your desktop. You can open up the test yourself and we can play along together. You can find out what you are, who you are, where we're at. It should be a bit interesting, just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun, just chill, just relax, just a bit of fun. Just chill, just relax. This is Super Chuffer channel. We're on the road to 10k. We're on the road to 10k. Yesterday we did a cool live. Nicola Bully, Penny and Ron, language, body language and analysis and react. I thought that was quite good. It's gone quite well. 10,000 views overnight. I mean, I'm amazed. Did it honestly live as well. Like, tried to be fresh. So I did a fresh reading. So a couple of times I said things and I was like, oh, actually, am I right in saying that? No, hang on, let's check that. And I checked what I was saying and I wasn't exactly right. And I had to check it and revise what I was saying. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. You know, it's okay to catch yourself being wrong and catch yourself. That's fine. I'd rather be proved wrong. If anyone's got any ideas, anything, any receipts, there's quite a few comments in the chat there that say, like, what I'm a bit surprised about, actually. I'm a little bit surprised about on that one, is there's a few comments in the chat. Like, we looked at the video and we said, is this her grandson? And there was nothing in the video to indicate that boy in the video is her grandson. So I said, I don't know, it's her grandson.
Again. I couldn't be happier. Swish.
Hello. Straight in with the tippies. I haven't even sent you the link yet.
Hey, Super Chuffer. Hope everyone is well. Have a great evening all. I think I am more Pearl Jam and that kind of music. Foo Fighters. So grunge is it?
Grunge.
LOL. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you very much. If you tippy, the Super Chuffer thing will come up on the screen like that. I will put that on the pinboard. We're going to have a look at grunge style then. One of the things I want to do today as well is, as we talk about different styles, and you tell me in the chat about your styles, I want to get pictures up and show you. So let's quickly get a grunger. Let's get a grunge. But actually, let's have a look at, like, you know, 90s original, because I was that original. It was quite handy because you could just get your clothes at charity shops. You didn't have to wash much. Very how you've behaved as a teenager in general, like how I felt as a teenager, very much was this. And it was nice because at the time we were freaks rather than goths or this or that. Just we were called freaks as like a generalizer, and it meant you could sort of be a bit of everything. I could have a leather coat. Well, I wouldn't these days because I'm vegan, but you know, you could have a leather coat or you could have a, you know, whatever. You were just like free to just sort of try any sort of bit of a fashion going on, bit baggy, a bit skatey. You know, grunge. There was a chain. Everyone was wearing a chain for a while as well. Everyone had a little chain with their keys on. Well done for the. Thank you, Judith, for the 10k views. We're on the march to 10k subscribers as well. So when we hit 10,000 subscribers, we'll have a little bit of a celebration. It's been requested of me that I batter Allan again on the B side. Just quickly, we've got Super Chuffer channel on the road to 10k, so make sure you subscribe to that. Tell your friends. And on the B side, battery exhausted. That's going now. That's on its way. They love it when I pull Alan's pants down in public and give him a smack. They actually love it. So that's going really well. And I've got a big marathon Allan event coming up. But I don't know if it'll be this weekend, because usually I play Genshin Impact at the weekends. And I think it might be sometime next week. But I'd rather get it done sooner rather than later. So we'll just see how that pans out, when it is that I turn up. Tomorrow and the day after, we've got the Coronation on Saturday. I'm not usually streaming here on Saturday anyway, but on Friday I might have the day off as well. I might be not here on Friday, or I might put in an earlier shift. We'll see tomorrow. I might put in an early shift, but I don't think I've got the time to do the big marathon. We're having family round. I've currently got dogs that I'm dog sitting, and we'll have other family members around for the weekend for the Coronation. So that's going to be nice, but it means more difficult for me to stream. So yeah, check out the B-side channel. Check out that. And the other one that I wanted to point you towards as well, if you're here early doors.
Raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Grandmasters did Sophos sent tippies. Bro him to work, but just need you to know. You are the goat. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thanks. It's easy to be the goat when Allan provides such a rich vein of comedic content to chuckle at. And on top of that, you know, we don't just bully people on the internet, right? I want to say this quite clear, but I'll do it on the other video. There are other people on the internet that are much more ripe for bullying. If you wanted to be a bully, they're much more easy to victimize. They're doing more stupid things. They're more naive than Allan. And so I'm not just out to bully people because I want to, like, oh, have a pop at someone. Hey, that's not the plan. Allan is an aggressive and dangerous narcissist who has forced his way into people's lives in different ways. He manipulates people behind the scenes for money. I've seen a Facebook message that he sent into a group about, like, you know, could you follow my campaign and all this. He's really, you know, he's a constant grift, and people shouldn't feel sorry for Allan because Allan is using sympathy and compassion against you. He doesn't actually feel bad. He just pretends he does so that you feel bad for him. It's a horrible thing to do. So I don't feel bad for Allan in any way, and I don't think I'm bullying him, but everyone's allowed their own opinions. So yeah, we will pick that up again soon, very soon. I've got plans on that, but it's just time constraints because it's going to be, I want to do a marathon. So it's going to be a good one. What am I saying for you to do? Look, we're doing the Goth Test. That's what we're doing today. I'm just getting set up, just letting people turn up. So if you're watching this on the replay and you're like, oh, he's bumbling away and he's chuffling and we haven't got started with the Goth Test yet. Yeah, all right, you can skip on. You've got the controls. But if you're watching this live, you don't, so you have to put up with it. So what I was saying is that I've got a new channel as well called, so you're on Super Chuffer. You go to channels and look, Super Chuffer for you. Make sure you subscribe to that. We've got little clips, little bits, clips. And I stream on Twitch as well as YouTube, right? I stream on Twitch as well as YouTube. So when I've been on Twitch, there's loads of cool stuff that's happened that you haven't seen. So we're clipping stuff like that and other stuff from YouTube, and we're going to put it up on that channel. It's a shorter, 30-minute, 20-minute, more comedic. None of this, like, serious, you know, murders and all that business. Just comedic, just fun. You know, I'm online, I'm a personality on the internet. Oh, get out of the way, you fucker. Oosh. I'm an online person who does entertainment shows, and some of them are kind of serious, and some of them are kind of emotional, and some are kind of touching, and others are kind of fun. So, you know, I've got a clips channel, all right? Chill. Get on it, watch them, you might enjoy it. Have a laugh. I'll put that in chat for you as well, so to make it easy for you just to link that. But obviously don't go there, stay here now. I'll tell you again about that later. So we're going to do the Goth Test, we're going to answer the questions. I'm going to put that in chat again for you so that you can follow along. Is it midnight? Yeah, it's always midnight. I get my clothes from IKEA. The Mimps are in the house. We're going to be asking you what your style is. We're going to be asking you to answer these questions with me in chat. And while the room just fills up, because it has a tendency to do this. Look, I can see on the graph that numbers are still going up, so I'm really grateful that people are still, oh, what's this? Oh, let's have a look. Let's pop in and have a look. I'm really grateful. So you keep talking and telling me in chat about your style as we get set up and started. Was there anything else I needed to show you? I've got my Super Chuffer Twitter. Someone asked me about this the other day, @InformalFilms, if you want to Twitter me. If you want to get in on the Discord, tip me, and then you'll get a link to the Discord. And if you want your cool style to be evaluated in today's show, tip me and I will read out, and then I'll see and I'll be like, oh look, you're talking about winkle pickers, let's have a look at a winkle picker or whatever. Otherwise I'll try and pick it out in chat as we go. So I think we're good. Wonder if there is anything else. Oh, I wanted to show you this. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? What's going on here? This is me replying to Bazza on Twitter. Bazza, who's been doing some Twitter Spaces. The bullshitters of St. Michael's, and then there's this picture, right? And I find it kind of funny, although like there's this conspiracy theory going around that Ron and Penny and all. That's what I was just starting with earlier. I was just saying how like I get all these comments even now. We did an episode yesterday, Nicola Bully, Penny and Ron. In that episode I said, I can find no evidence to say that this is Penny's grandson. Has anybody got any evidence to say this is Penny's grandson in this video? Nobody could come up with a shred of evidence to say that was Penny's grandson. Still getting comments today saying, oh, that's Penny's grandson, that is. Like, people just say things, man. They just say things. Then other people just go, oh, I heard that. It was said there. I'm sure someone said that. And then it's like a fact that you all believe. No, I don't know about that. That's not for me. Not you in chat here now, or not you watching this video. You're a smart person. You're the people that see through it. It's the others that are like, just take things at base value or face value or assumption. I find it really strange. But that's still coming up on that. So, yeah, this funny one on Twitter. And there's a picture of Penny and there's Ron. Like, but look who it is. Look who it is there. So I've had to crop that. I've had to, like, what? Who is this? Who is this? Angie says, mod, disco, hippie, surfer girl, preppy, punk and country. That's yours. That's all the styles. That's all the styles. Are we doing a Coronation special, Prince Andy? I'm having the family around. Like most people in the UK will be doing a family day. So I might be tempted to turn on the computer, but it's more likely not because, I mean, I don't know. The Coronation will be in the daytime. All my family will get drunk. And by the evening, I'll be having to put up with it. So I might be tempted to come on stream. I'm also the I don't drink, so when people need driving around, they require me to drive. And so what would happen on a family occasion like the Coronation will be that everyone will just assume that I'll drive them around at the end of the night. Honestly, I'm a bit eggy about it, but like they enjoy drinking, so they like. I don't want to hang around with drunk people, but when they're really drunk, they expect me to do their labour for them. And I'm like, you got yourself drunk, so why the fuck should I drive you around? I'm the one choosing not to drink, so I should not be put out. But anyway, yeah. So what's probably likely is they'll come round, they'll get drunk, and then in the evening at some point, I'll be required to drive some people around and get them home and stuff, so it might interfere with streaming. This picture. Claire said she went to the hairdresser's today and got the fringe done like Chuffer's priest. And what the hen says, 2 nights in a row. Yeah, I'm trying to, I should be here present on the Super Chuffer channel pretty much every day in the week, apart from one day off, which I have Tuesday at the moment, but it could vary. We could change that. And at the weekends, I stream Genshin Impact on Twitch and games, and that can vary because, I might get busy, but if I get busy at the weekend, it's only the games that suffer. I can do gaming in the week at any time. So we've got a bit of a schedule, a bit of a rolling routine. And on the B side, as you saw the other week, I will be doing this episode about this murder that I researched. We will be talking about this thing that I researched, this horrible murder that I didn't want to do as a full episode because I didn't really feel like my mind was on. I don't really enjoy talking about pedos and murderers and stuff, like I'm focusing on it and researching it. Ugh. No, that's not what I want to look at in my life. I've only got limited time. I want to enjoy myself, so I don't always want to be doing that. But the stuff is there for me to start talking about it. But yeah, the B side. So when I feel like something does, like this nearly went on the B side. The Goth Test, it nearly went on the B side. I think it fits as A side content, but on the B side, on Battery Exhausted, this used to be my scrapbook channel. I used to have loads of different stuff that I wanted to upload, but nowhere to upload it. And like when I say loads of different stuff, I mean like a real weird range of stuff. Like I did a pretend interview for Match of the Day. I don't know if everyone's seen this.
Yeah, the boys played really well today. I felt that we could have spread the ball throughout the midfield a little more, but keeping possession and at the end of the day, not conceding any goals is the most important thing in Premier League football.
Because we were working at the Stoke football ground we were working with the strongmen. They were doing a show there. And we were basically backstage, I was filming the strongmen, so I was basically going where I want. And I found this corner where they'd set this thing up for the media interviews, just like it's the football ground, and this is where they do the media interviews. And I'm like, oh my god! So I was like, mate, film me. And I got myself a little interview. Where did that go? On the internet, on Battery Exhausted. It's my scrapbook channel, and it just evolved over time. So when I've got stuff that I don't really know where to put it, like talking about that idiot. That arm dick idiot. Also though, playing House Flipper or a long video about a Choose Your Own React videos. Do you remember Choose Your Own React books? Do you remember Choose Your Own React books? Well, I've done a long video of 2-hour React to that. It goes there. It's a good, the B-side channel, you've got some long videos on there now that you can really get stuck into. And also some older, you know, the history of Scotty on the internet, if you want to go back. It's all there. So the B-side channel is a bit of a relaxing relief for me in a way. So we do that for fun. So it's not set in the schedule. It's not set in stone. Last one was 5 days ago. Next one will be either, you know, next couple of days or next week. All good in the hood. All good in the hood. So the Goth Test then. Looks like you've had time to fill up the room to get where you want to be. Have you got yourself a cup of coffee? Have you got yourself a glass of chocolate oat milk? Have you got yourself your drinking your snack? Are you ready for your chuffing? That was the Britannica Stadium, yeah. It was I can't remember what the event was called now. It was a strongman event though. They were all doing like, you know, strongman things. I think we're interested in the Jock-Nerd Prep-Goth test. So before we start, the Jock-Nerd Prep-Goth test was developed by IDR Labs and is based on a cultural meme in internet culture. The IDR Labs Jock-Nerd Prep-Goth test is not associated with any specific research in the field of psychopathology, social psychology, personality psychology, or any affiliated research institutions. So Steve of the Dead would say this one goes in the bin. It's not real. It's not real, it's just a bit of fun. The prep subculture is a cultural classification that emerged in the United States in the mid-20th century. It's associated with a particular style of dress, grooming and social behaviour that emphasises traditional, conservative values and a preppy aesthetic. Ooh, are any of you in chat then? I'm going to ask you this before we get started then. Are any of you in chat preppy? I never really, like we talked about grunge, that's basically what I grew up like, you know. Talked about grunge. If you really want me to check out your styles, then, you know, you got to tip me. You got to tip me. It's got to go up on the thing. I can't be reading out everyone's chat. I'm only joking, but also I really do appreciate the tippies. I really do. I want to make this sustainable, so I'm really grateful for that. You know, it all goes on the screen. It gets put up on the screen. I'm not trying to hide anything. I absolutely am grateful for that. And yeah, if you, I'm under no illusion that if you spend money and it comes up on the screen, I will be like, it's right up there, everyone sees it. I will be paying it more attention. I'm not like, it's not like, I've got a good scheme, eh? Got a good scheme. If they pay me money, I answer their super chats, eh? That's the system. So that's welcome to the system. I feel like there's a cat. I feel like before we get started, there's a cat issue. I know there's a cat issue. What are you doing here, you dog? In? Yeah, I heard you. Go on, and you, go in there. Go on, you. Go on, you go in there. Are you going up there? Oh, you're both going around. Right, fine. All the animals are going around out there. That's fine, isn't it? Ah, bang my knee. Ah, you chuffer. Oosh. That's fine, isn't it? If all the animals are going around, apologise. I, had to get the cat sorted. Right then. I want to see Preppy. Preppy. I wanted it in Google, really. Preppy. Image me up a preppy. Oh, I see. So, like, jocks are boys and preppies are girls. It's a sexist version of a jock. Is that what it is? It's like Mean Girls or, like... Is that what it is? Because, Oh, the cat again. Tell me in chat, are you preppy? No, I do apologise. Oosh. Other people can't be responsible. I have to be responsible for everybody. Are you preppy? Is preppy your thing? Are you preppy? Are you preppy? Oh, it's quite an interesting look, isn't it? I can see what they mean now about conservative. It's like, you know, straight-laced. It's like when I was younger, you're either mainstream or, like, if you were mainstream, you were more, in the UK it wasn't like this, but, you know, you were more conservative, I suppose. And then you go outside that box as you get older, don't you? You start to rebel. Preppy. I'm not seeing many male preppy. There's preppy for men, I suppose, is it? I don't know. Or is this it? This is the look. The shooting party. They need a shooting. They need shooting. I suppose it's only style. They're going to shoot them for wearing style. They look a bit like hipsters. Right, so that was preppy. I'm much happy with grunge. Prep values clean-cut, polished appearances, Ivy League style clothing, polo shirts, chinos and loafers. It's very American. It still holds an important place in American cultural history. The Goth subculture is a subcultural movement that originated in the United Kingdom in the 1980s. It's characterised by dark, often romantic and melancholy aesthetic, with a focus on music, fashion and art that explores the themes of death, decay and the supernatural. Yeah, okay, I would say okay. What do you think in chat? Is that a good description of goth? Is that a good description of goth? Do you reckon? I think that for me, goth was about a sort of acceptance of, like, it was post-brutalism, because we had Joy Division in the UK, like a huge influence on goth, I think. Post-brutalism sort of, it's almost like there's maybe an occult aspect to it as well, like a historical occult status, like, you know, like witchy, but really it's very dour, it's very dark, it's very black. There was lots of black. It changed and evolved since I was a kid. When I was a kid, it was like pre-Marilyn Manson, and then you've got like post-Manson, so then you've got like cyber goth and punk goth and pierced goth and, you know, expressive goth. But when I was young, goth was like, it didn't even have to have black, it could be grey, it could be like, you know, just really dour clothes, and very I want to use the word depressive, like, but I also feel like it's not quite depressive. It's like an acceptance of the sadness of life and the reality, like very realistic. Almost sounds pretty emo, says Colette. Yeah, it was pre-emo, before emo. Like, emo means emotional, doesn't it? That's where that came from, emotional music and all this. Like, emo, you're allowed to express things. As a goth, you did. Actually, you did if you're a goth. You really did express things. I'm thinking of Love Will Tear Us Apart. I'm thinking of Joy Division. I'm thinking of She's Lost Control. I know that from there on, it will, like, if I should really have Steve on for this, because I think I'm also thinking of Cradle of Filth and stuff like that. But I think when you get there, and Marilyn Manson and Cradle of Filth, you've gone quite away from the original, like, just the dark, just the black. It was almost like there was a concept preceding all this, the sort of first youth culture to spring up in the modern commercial world was beatniks. And they would be jazz and low-key and a lot of black, but much more stylish. Goth, I mean, I remember as well The Crow, the film The Crow. There was a lot of goth imagery in The Crow. That kind of sums it up, a lot of it. I mean, I used to have a big black coat. I used to have black combats. I used to have Doc Martin boots. I used to have long hair like I do now. And then sometimes black eyeliner or nail varnish and a band t-shirt, maybe some rips and chains and bits and pieces, that sort of stuff. That's how I think of it. But I suppose I wasn't the originator, and I wasn't the... I grew up while goth was an early doors... Not early, like, I'm sure goth was before I was born, but I grew up during goth's evolution, I'll say that. Actually, I'm referencing this, and I should really reference this. John Robb Goth book. There's a guy called John Robb. I met him. He's a punk, and he's written this book, which I haven't read, but it looks really interesting. It's called, okay, The Art of Darkness. Why is it going away like that? The Art of Darkness, The History of Goth. So there's actually a book about it that John Robb has written, and he, similar to what I'm describing, punk, you know, in the music world in the UK, he's in a band, like, you know, that's a proper band. I think they're called Membranes, the Membranes, and like, he knows his stuff. So we might have a look at that. Might try and get John on sometime to talk about it with me, if we want to go deeper into goth. Deeper into goth. This is saying that goth subculture is often associated with a particular style of clothing, including dark Victorian-inspired clothing, heavy eyeliner and pale makeup. is also associated with a genre of music known as goth rock, which is characterised by its dark, brooding themes, heavy bass lines, and ominous vocals. The goth subculture has a strong DIY ethos, often embraces counterculture values, rejecting mainstream cultural norms in favour of a more individual and expressive style. Yeah, so I felt like punk and goth went hand in hand. Although the goth subculture has declined in popularity in recent years, it remains an important part of popular culture and continues to inspire new generations of fans and artists.
Raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish and then whoosh.
Bad Gambler sent tippies. Hi, me and my brother went clay pigeon shooting once, as you can imagine, very posh, all the gear and so on. Me and my brother turned up in trainers t-shirts, ha ha ha, two of us walking around the shooting area with shotguns and ammo, ha ha ha, funny as FUK. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you very much for the tippies. That does sound funny. It's making me think of Prince Andrew as well and Ghislaine Maxwell, where he said, oh, it's just a shooting party. And what was Ghislaine doing at your property? Oh, it wasn't anything big. It was just a standard shooting party, really. You know. I'm just going to quickly find a new image for the. I think we'll find a new image for the tippies that fits the theme today a bit better. Oh, that's the one I want. And also, I will quickly show you a meme, I guess. I was just going to... This one. A quick meme. Which is... What is it? What is it? What's her name? Wednesday Addams. Wed NES Day Addams dance. But I want it as like a short meme. Like, not the official one. There we go. Like the shorts, look. The shorts. Have you seen the memes and the shorts? Everyone's doing the shorts. Well, they were a few weeks ago. Should have been on this... I should have been on this, shouldn't I? Isn't it? We've got this like super stylized on the telly, mainstream, big, buy it in new look. Like, you know, it's turned into a strange, like, popular mainstream version of what it was, because it was never popular and mainstream to be goth, was it? Interesting, isn't it? And I think Wednesday Addams, even, you know, before that representation of Wednesday Addams, you know, Wednesday Addams. The whole Addams family thing, the whole, I want to use the word Lovecraftian aspect of culture. I think that could have influenced it all a bit as well, couldn't it? So, Wed NES Day. You like that, did you? I mean, that's how I have to, that's why I say Madeleine when I'm typing. Look, I'll show you. Let's get a Google out, look. You can see it. If you write Wednesday, Wednesday, like that, and there's Wednesday, where's the D? So I have to say it in my brain. I have to go Wed NES.
I couldn't be happier.
Day.
Slinky Socks sent tippies. Can you repost the link to the test, please? XXX
Yeah.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Yeah, absolutely. I can do that for you. No problem. No problem. Thank you very much for the tippies. Yeah, we'll do this together, this test. Jock culture refers to a cultural stereotype that's associated with athletes and sports enthusiasts. Now, I like a bit of sport. I am athletic, but fuck you, jocks. And I used to love the football, and I'm a football fan, and I graduated out of being like more sort of alternative punk goth. When I went to college, I became more normalised, like most people do, and a little more streetwise, like most people do, I suppose. I think one of the big crossover points was Jonathan Davis and Korn normalising Adidas. So Korn did a song called Adidas, and Jonathan Davis used to wear Adidas clothes on stage, like wear sports branding. And before Jonathan Davis and Korn, sports branding was a no-no for the goth or the alternative, you know, for the Kurt Cobain style. Like if you were a Kurt Cobain fan, you'd gone into the charity shop and bought a jacket that looked like a map of the world, And then Jonathan Davis was wearing these Adidas tops, and all of a sudden streetwear, Vans shoes, you know, a bit of the skate punk from America came into it, and all of a sudden I was able to say, oh, I like my blue Adidas jacket now, even, you know, and I can wear a pair of trainers more because they're comfortable and normal, and people won't attack me for being a goth. But it's weird, isn't it, where that happened? I think Jonathan Davis was really basically directly, like, I remember this image so vividly as well, and we all had these Adidas trousers all of a sudden with the poppers on the side that you could pop open, and like Adidas was like the main thing all of a sudden, even if you were a bit of a goth. Strange, isn't it? It's characterised, this is Jocks now, characterised by a focus on physical fitness, competition and winning, as well as emphasis on traditionally masculine traits as strength, courage and aggressiveness. In this cultural context, being a jock is often seen as synonymous with being physically fit, athletic and interested in sports and competition. See, I would say I'm those things. Well, I'm not so athletic anymore, to be honest. I haven't gone for a good run in ages, but like physically fit, athletic, interested in sports, but not interested in being a dickhead and a meathead and an arsehole. Like, it's always like on the telly, isn't it? Do you remember when it was always on the telly, when it was do you remember when it was on the film? It's probably still is, isn't it? But it's on the telly in the films, and the jocks are the ones that do the bullying and that kiss the pretty girls and shag the cheerleaders and drink the beers, and then the ones that are slightly alternative and like have emotions and feel like normal people are getting bullied by the jocks. And that's who I was and who we were. I'm thinking like we weren't the ones that were out there like scoring the touchdowns and being the quarterbacks. I don't think many people are. Like, there's only one quarterback on the damn team anyway every year, isn't there? Do you know what I mean? I think more people are not jocks than are jocks. I think more people don't manage to compete at a high level in sport and get a free pass because they're like successful, athletic or rich. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think more of us are more normal than jocks. I think jocks culture actually seems like an outside the norm thing to me. To me it does. But then that's because my social groups and my norms are different to that, aren't they? So, yeah. Being a jock is often seen as synonymous with being fit. I just said that. Despite this cultural stereotype, many athletes and sports enthusiasts also value education, creativity, and other forms of personal expression and intellectual pursuits. Yeah, and I'd say if you did that, if you valued education, creativity, and other forms of personal expression and intellectual pursuits, you're not a jock, in my perception of it. And you can tell me in chat. You know, this is quite an American thing, isn't it? But my perception of it is that it's a bit more American, that, and like the minute you start to have value this personal expression, intellectual pursuits and stuff, the minute you start being not a jock, because jocks are like, oh, I don't care about any of this, so I'm just rah, rah, rah. So there we go. They're the different criteria. There are multiples criteria, one on its own criterion. Yeah, they're the different criteria that we're going to be going through, and we've got questions. And I popped it in chat again, so you can open it in a thing. I just quickly look at this now. I quickly just like zoned into chat because I know that you talk to each other, and that's great. I think it's good that you're having a chat to each other. Like, that's good. But I just quickly zoned in, and I just saw at Judith, I still have 2 pairs of thigh-high boots, says Dover and Dolly's mom, and I don't know why that one took my attention. Zoop. Actually, I'll tell you one further story as well about a goth. Before we get started. Do you remember Kerrang magazine? I don't know if you remember Kerrang magazine. I don't know if it's still going. It probably is, isn't it? Kerrang magazine. Probably is still going. So we used to get this magazine every week, and it was the guitar magazine, music magazine. And so your favourite bands would be in Kerrang. Let me see, Kerrang from the 90s. So your favourite bands would be in Kerrang. And, you know, every episode or edition, like someone from our school would go and get a copy. Like me, Dan maybe was more into this than me. You don't know Dan, so it's irrelevant. But, like, you know, someone would go and get a copy of Kerrang, we'd all look at it and be interested in it. And then when we go into gigs, there was this thing in Kerrang where you could say, I met you at a gig, like a singles advert. Like, oh, I met you at a gig, your name was Heather and you had nice hair. Here's my number, please call me, sort of thing. And I was in that once. Scotty Hottie was in that once. What happened was I went to, I think it was Placebo. I went to this really cool gig. I went to lots of gigs. We used to go to loads of gigs in Wolverhampton, Wolfram Hall. I went to see Placebo on their first tour of the UK. And there was a goth girl there. I remember her name to this day. Her name was Barbara. Barb. I'm not going to say her surname, but I do remember her surname because I got a snog off this goth girl. It was brilliant. And then I was in Kerrang. like she put an advert in the little side thing, and you know, I was wearing my red t-shirt, and she was like, "Oh, I met this boy with a red t-shirt." And I was like, "That's me. I'm famous." I never met her again, but I always wonder about that. That was a great gig as well, because I got a snog off a really attractive goth girl. And it was before mobile phones or anything, so, you know, I didn't take anyone's number or anything. Like, I think after she put me in Kerrang, like, I did contact her and we met up in Birmingham once. But, like, yeah, funny old days, eh? Funny old days. So that's my little story about snogging a goth. That's where I'm coming from. So I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to come out. I think I'm going to come out on this test goth, heavy goth, and slightly nerd. I can't see myself being jockey preppy. Just doesn't feel right, but it might be. And before we get going, if you're going to follow along in chat as well, tell me what you think in chat, where you are. Are you prep goth nerd? Now that I've gone over them, prep goth, Jock-Nerd. Which one are you? Right. Question 1 of 22, and we're going to try and get through 22 questions. So how long have I been rambling now? Half an hour. That's about right for me. Half an hour of chuffing before we actually get into the episode. That's about right. This is supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be relaxing. You're supposed to be able to chill, have a chat with me, have a chat with each other. So, you know, have a good time. Have a good time. Classic timeless fashion is always in style. Question 1. What do you think about that? Classic timeless fashion is always in style. I think yes to that. Do you know what? Like, look at how I'm wearing now. I'm wearing t-shirts are not classic, but they are kind of, aren't they? Straightforward. I would wear when I used to work at the hairdressers, I would wear a shirt and black trousers, smart shoes, like classic timeless. I'm wearing a blazer because I want to look reasonably smart for while I'm streaming. I don't want to appear. I used to just wear whatever, roll out of bed. It's a stream. I'm at my own house, but I think actually I should make a bit of an effort because I'm at work and I'm presenting to the world. So, like, classic timeless fashion, yeah. Not exactly the fashion of yesteryear, but certain items, like I was saying earlier about the leather coat, you know, one simple item from a charity shop that's not some snazzy Adidas with sequins, but classic timeless. Yeah, I think I actually totally agree with that. Always in style. I don't know about the trends and because the catwalk just regurgitates and revolves and changes. Like, you don't remember what happened 40 years ago, so now you're going to sell you that. And we'll just keep going around in this endless cycle so that we can keep changing your clothes so that you have to keep spending money. And like, there's a bit of that going on, isn't there? But there are certain items that are always going to, you know, you're going to always, like, a woman's wardrobe has a little, I mean, this is being sexist, isn't it? But a little black dress. And it's timeless, isn't it? The little black dress. That people have been wearing little black dresses for years. Like, little black, yeah, I'm going to say double thumbs up to that. I like that. But I got a feeling that's not very punk, but I'm going to say double thumbs up. Next. Hello, Knife Party. It's not, I'm going to allow that because, you know, Eddie's all right. We like Eddie, but Knife Party, it is not appropriate to come to somebody's stream and advertise somebody else's stream in the chat. That's inappropriate. So I'm going to allow it because I do like Eddie and we all do watch his stuff. But just be aware in the future. I've clocked that you've done that, and it's a bit rude. It's just not etiquette to come to someone's stream and advertise somebody else's stream in the chat, because you're basically saying to people, go away from this and watch something else, and that's a bit rude, Knife Party. So I've clocked you there doing that. Actually, I am going to... Actually, well, are you directly talking to somebody? You're talking to Privilege, aren't you? So is Privilege asking you for that? Yeah, Privilege is asking you about that. So, okay, I'll allow that. You know, I'll allow that. Privilege has directly mentioned it and you've replied to them. But just be aware, like, you know, in the future... I'm not that eggy. I'm not. I just thought, you know, I've got to keep an eye on chat myself, and I just saw it. So, it's about etiquette rather than aggressively banning someone for, oh, you're saying go and watch them. It's not that. It's just a general point that I just thought I'd, you know, highlight that. Because stay here. Don't go and watch that. Stay here. Yeah, I see that now, Dover, Dolly's mum. Yeah, sorry. You know, that's all good. It's all good. It's all good. We're not having an eggy. Question 2. Participating in fandom, communities and conventions is a great way to connect with like-minded individuals. A very strange question for the UK. Much more an American question, I think, because that whole, Comic-Con, Anime Con, Detective Con Detective, Con Man, our whole convention thing. We do that in the UK, don't we? And this is probably a geeky one, isn't it?
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Slinky Socks sent tippies. I got 82.7 goth and 37.3 nerd. Never thought I have a secret nerd hiding inside my brain. XXX.
Mad
Super
God.
Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Slinky Socks, of course, Slinky Socks then. Slinky Socks is big goth. Big goth. It's great that you're putting your results in chat so quick. I was surprised. I thought we'd go through it together. I thought you'd wait for me. We'd do a question by question. No, you're all rushed ahead. That's fine. Done the test. Fine. Don't even stay here and just fine. Do the test. Why don't you watch this on double speed later? Why don't you watch it on triple speed? Don't watch it. If you're going to watch it on later, watch it on half speed so I get twice the amount of view rate. Don't do that. Look, participating in fandom communities and conventions is a great way to connect with like-minded individuals. I would agree. However, I have been to a few of these events and I don't remember having really connected. You meet people on the day and you have a good chat, but I don't remember really deep, friends I've made since that convention that I'm still with today and stuff like that. I find the ways to connect with like-minded individuals. I suppose I was talking about when I was younger, gigs, social places that you go regularly. Yeah, I think fandom communities, yes, but conventions, no. Because I think conventions, big marketplace. A convention is there to sell you products a lot of the time. They sell their floor space, they sell their stage space, and you get a lot of stuff out of it if you're interested in certain entertainment events that go on there. But there's also a big marketplace. So, no. But the fandom communities, maybe more. Maybe more. So I'm going to put neutral. I went backwards instead. Neutral I'm putting for that. Question 3. You've all completed it already. I'll copy it into paste in chat for anyone who hasn't got it yet. Question 3. You'll have to save your. I'm not at the end. I'll ask you for all of your results again. At the end. Question 3. Mental and physical. Because at the end I'll be able to say what I am and check what you are. Then at the end. Question 3. Mental and physical toughness are necessary for overcoming challenges and achieving success. 100%. I don't know about physical toughness. See, they've wrought 2 things into one here. Physical toughness are not necessary for overcoming challenges and achieving success. There are lots of people who are not physically tough. I mean, look at what Stephen Hawking did with his life. The man's not going to wrestle you to the ground, was he? So physical toughness irrelevant. Mental toughness, without it, you are nothing. So, how do you want me to answer this? Now just lock the cat out. Why would you do this to me? No. What did I just say about this cat? She's meowing at the door. What did I just say about this cat? Oosh. Apologies. Having to manage things. It's just going to get worse for me this weekend with the family and me having to do things. But yeah. So mental and physical toughness are necessary for overcoming challenges and achieving success. No. You've got to put physical toughness in there. Mental, yes. Physical, no. So that's a no. The no overrides the yes. Don't know why you put them together. Debating and discussing complex ideas and theories is a valuable form of intellectual exercise. What? Intellectual exercise? I don't know. I think intellectual capacity, like your IQ, your intelligence, is one aspect of something, and then practicing with it, learning things is a different thing. So exercise, you're not going to get more intelligent by having lots of complex ideas and theories and talking, but you're going to be more practiced at handling those things. Like back when I was at school, I could do complex mathematics a lot easier than I can now because I was so used to doing it day by day. I've let it rust, so to speak. So yes, I would say yes, but debating and discussing complex ideas, to a limit, some people are not going to be capable of discussing certain complex ideas and theories without background information. So this intellectual exercise is going to be null and void because you're not going to be able to do it. You know, you can't just sit down and say, right, today we're going to have a complex debate. Let's go. That'll make me smarter. You have to prepare. You have to prepare for it. And I think the concept of intellectual exercise is null and void. I think you are smart and you have, you know, smarts, and then you can practice things and learn things. But I'm not really sure that by practicing and learning, you're increasing your amount of smarts. You know, does that make sense in what I'm saying there? What do you think? Let's just have that as a question. Let me ask you that. Let me ask you that. I want to know in chat now, can you get smarter by practice? I'm going to say question mark. And what I mean by that, so that it makes, you know, to make it clear, well, I haven't written it in a, hang on, I haven't written it as a poll. Come on, start a poll. Start a poll. Can you get smarter by practice? Ask your community. What I want to know is that, is it like, because, you know, at school we're learning, aren't we? And we do all that. But I don't think they were trying to make me more intelligent. You know, I didn't think the idea was that, okay, Scott is like this level on the intelligence test, and now we're going to do loads of maths. And at the end of it, he's going to be more intelligent, and now he's going to be able to handle the physics. I didn't think it was that. But I might be wrong. Like, do you think that by practicing and practicing, you actually get... I'm not just talking about you become more knowledgeable or learned, but does your brain get better? Like running in athletics or weightlifting. You know, with weightlifting, the more you do it, the stronger you physically are. Like, you are actually stronger. So does practicing, like, I don't know, maths, or in this question, complex ideas and theories, does that make you smarter? And then I suppose the other side of that coin is, if you don't do it, and if you sit and smoke your head off and talk a load of shit on the internet all day. But, you know, if you don't do that... I mean, what we're doing now is quite smart, isn't it? It's quite interesting, kind of intellectual in a way. Not really, but it is in a way. We're using our brains, you know? So, like, does this... If you don't do it, do you get more dull? Do you get more dim? That's the opposite. So if you think you do get more dim if you don't practice, I guess you do get smarter if you do practice. It's like the gym. It's like the gym. Is it? Is it? Is it though? Is it? See you next time, Droffnats. No worries. Hello, Solway12121. We're doing a Jock-Nerd prep chop test. We're doing a test. See how Jock-Nerd prep you are. Lee James says they've mastered putting the bins out. They're not smarter for it. So there's different opinions, but the majority of you, I'm going to end the poll there, the majority of you have been really clear. You really think you get smarter by practice. The majority of you think that. So, Knife Party, for your attention, this is a good point, yeah. For your information, when I mentioned Super Chuffer in Allan's stream, I got banned and blocked for life and labelled a troll. That's the point, yeah. I didn't, do you remember, I didn't block you, I allowed it and was reasonable and thought about how you must have thought when you write it, and then thought, actually, I was wrong to get a bit eggy. You were quite right to have written what you wrote, and it was okay. So, yeah, it's a different vibe here, isn't it? I'm glad you noticed. I think you can get smarter by practice is the majority consensus. I don't know if I still believe that, but I think when you're younger, especially, if you do a lot of training with a kid, then they do get smarter. Or at least they have better results at the end of it. So I don't know exactly what happens in my brain, whether my brain is like a muscle that gets better. But I'll go, yeah, I'll agree then. I'll go with the consensus. This isn't science. No, we didn't do a science test. We just did a statistics. But it's not science, but I'll rock it. Do you like that? It's not science, but I'll rock it. Like rocket science. Anyway, forget it. Next. Emotional intensity and introspection are important aspects of personal growth. Yes. I'm a million on that. Yes, a million. I can see how gothy that is. Love will tear us apart again. I used to be able to play that. The guitar's over there. Don't worry about it now. Yeah, introspection are important aspects of personal growth. I really think so. You know, you need to think, you need to look inside and reflect. You don't spend all time doing it. You know, if you can dream and not make dreams your master, If you can think but not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat the two impostors just the same. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can trust yourself when all people, not men, people, but make allowance for the doubting. Have that introspection. Big ups. Is privilege trying to cause trouble? What are you up to now, privilege? Privilege, what I can see you are doing is you're talking specifically to people. And if people don't like it, they can either block you or you can not. Like saying, I can see there's one here in the past, at Sarah, you're being cynical. Like, what I do discourage is people directly having a banter with each other that's not banter, that's back and forth. That's not acceptable. And so you've been called on it, but I'm not saying it's you. I'm just saying let's not do it. You know, let's not do it. And whoever was arguing with them that is talking to you, I'm going to say to them as well, don't argue back. This chat doesn't have the back and forth arguing with each other because it doesn't get you anywhere. So you're allowed to chat about whatever you want. And I'm keeping an eye on it, but I think you're all right. I think you're all right again. I think this is one of those where you're all right, and I think you can handle it. Emotional intensity and introspection are important aspects of personal growth. I think so. I'm going to say 100 to 100. Yeah. There's no way I don't think we even need to chat about that. If you don't chat about it, all right, that was talking about me. I thought they were talking about someone else. I don't have right. If you say I've got a problem with cats, I don't have a problem with cats. Right, yeah, privilege, you're getting timed out, because if you're asking why I don't cover Coppinger or whatever, like, because I have no interest, I'm not a true crime channel. I have no obligation to do, sorry, I've done the wrong thing there. Timeout, you're supposed to go in. Oh, well, you know, if I've accidentally deleted you instead of timed you out, that's that. That's unhide you. You're in timeout, but you're unhidden. You're back on. Yeah, I'll quickly take that though. You know, I've got no obligation to the internet to cover true crime. I don't pretend to be a detective in my free time, do I? I don't claim status as some detective. Turns out I've looked at some body language to do with a particular case, and then people have really, really enjoyed it, what I've done. Like, there's all these true crime channels out there. I'm not bigging myself up too much here, right? But it's the truth, isn't it? Look, there's all these other true crime channels out there, but I've just not even interested in doing the research and being a true crime or anything like that. I'm not a detective and any of this stuff. All I've done is said, right, here's the body language for these people that have been on the news. And who else is saying it like me? Nobody. But does everyone agree? Yeah. Lots of people do, to the point where the other true crime channels are now getting their ideas for some of my videos. So I'm really lucky in that. I'm really lucky. But if you like have your egg on because you think I should cover something that, you know, it's just silly. Very silly. So you got timed out. Simples. Question 5 of 22. Emotional intensity and introspection are important aspects of personal growth. We said definitely yes. And that's one that you can think about, can't you? In timeout. Next. Luxury is a core principle when it comes to my material possessions. I can't even understand the concept of the statement, so I don't think I'm going to agree with this one. What do you think in chat? Luxury is a core principle. I would rather have the better stuff, wouldn't I? Let's not beat around the bush. I don't think that Gucci makes it better because they wrote Gucci on it. That's not me. But I do think that like the cheap Chinese, you know, Amazon blazer that I've got is probably not the most finely stitched.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Bad
swoosh.
Gambler sent tippies. Got to say Jock-Nerd is one of my fave bands and still is. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Enjoy the silence. Is that Depeche Mode? Big ups. Thank you for the £3 tippies. You know, I'm not dressed in the finest swanky gear, and I imagine that there's somewhere between what I'm wearing and Gucci is some really well made, really nice fabric and all that, and it will last me. But yeah, like I don't need like this super luxury with material possessions. But if I'm buying like for a computer, I bought the best one I possibly could with the money because I wanted it to do a good job. So it's not about luxury, but it's about competency in that. I mean, I'm wearing cheap headphones, but I used to have expensive ones, so I don't know where I sit on that. I'm looking around to see if there's anything super luxurious in my room. There's nothing super luxurious. The most expensive items are the technological items that I use to run my business. But, you know, if we're going to go out for dinner, I mean, that's not material possessions, is it, dinner? So I was going to say I wouldn't take you to like some shabby sandwich bar. I'd like, you know, I'd want a bit of swank, wouldn't I? I'd want to, you know, want it to be nice. And if I can afford it, I'd rather pay a little bit more and have some really, you know, quality item than get ripped off and have a load of shit. You know what I mean? I'd rather not. Yeah, cost and value. That's a good point, Silent Murmur. Cost can misrepresent value. You know, I'd rather have good value, and that doesn't mean it's cheap. Cheap and nasty throwaway rubbish. No. So luxury is a core principle. No, it doesn't have to be luxurious. Like I don't have to have a cashmere bath towel or whatever. Like, I'm quite happy to have a quite barren and sparse. You know, I don't have lots of like toilet face water or whatever. You know, creams and things. I just quite barren and sparse in the bathroom. Simple white towel. Like doesn't need to be all fluffy. I don't have a big robe and stuff like that. I'm not. You know, that's not me in my instinct. Quite happy to go camping, but at the same time, I'm not going to put up with a load of old rubbishy shit. And if something's not right, I'd rather spend a bit more money. And this is what I do with my technology kit. As much as I can, I'd rather spend the money and get the good quality thing, and then it lasts and do well. That's a good point, Robin Hood. I do get my clothes from IKEA. That's a very good point. I do get my clothes from IKEA. The memes. So what do you think in chat? What do you think in chat? Where should I put my button, and where would you put yours? Where would you put yours? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 options there. Are you more to the green or more to the red? I don't know how we describe it, but more to the green or more to the red? What do you reckon? What do you reckon? I'm going to say nearly. I think nearly luxuries. I mean, I'm not saying it's a core principle, luxury, but I like it being shabby doesn't mean that's great to me. I'm not like, great, let's have some shabby. Oh, I'd love it to be. I'd like that jacket, but could you put a hole in the in the arm, just there by your elbow? Can you put a hole in it for me? No, I'd like, thanks. I'd like the nice one. I don't know. I don't have the answers here. I don't have the answers. You're saying double red. You're in chat. Chat's saying double red. I mean, let's be fair, right? If you go on, another way I think about luxury is when I'm talking about booking things. And when I was younger, I would have to book the cheapest possible. You know, we go on a holiday when you're in your early 20s or whatever, and you have to just book like, you know, package tour, cheap, you know, cheap getaway or whatever. No thought of luxury. But then as I've grown older and I have better choices, a great example, this is the best example I've got of this, is we went to Sweden on my film project that I created, a documentary. I do shout it out all the time, and you chuffers haven't all watched it yet, but it's in the channel, Indie Game Development Paradise. It's there on the videos panel, and this is a documentary I made about video games in Sweden.
Down and write a definition of art, I do think games are art, but I also kind of think everything is art. Yeah.
So I went to Sweden, I met all these people. The film tells its story, I'm not going to go on about it, but I spent some money going there to film this project. You know, I had to spend plane tickets in Stockholm. We stayed in Stockholm a few nights and had to get hotel rooms. And when I booked the hotel rooms, I was on a tight budget, it was my money. And so I booked cheap as chips hotel rooms. And when we got there in Stockholm, me and Matt, I was, you know, paying for Matt to stay in this hotel room. It was like a double room, 2 beds. There wasn't much room to move around in. We moved all the bags in and all the stuff, and we couldn't really move around. The shower's a bit manky. And I was like, look, we're just going to sleep here for 1-2 nights, and then we're going to go home. So it's irrelevant what the room's like. Let's just dump the stuff and go out. And Matt was like, I can't stay here. I don't want to stay here. I don't like it. And I did think, I'll admit this. I thought,
again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then swoosh.
Gail sent tippies. Hi Scott. Apparently I'm tied between goth and prep.
Ooh, we'll get you
But
tied.
I can be whatever you want me to be. Thank you for another fun stream. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
That's it. We'll get you tied up somewhere between Goth and Prep. That'll be fine. Yeah. So we're in this shabby hotel, and Matt said he couldn't stay. And I thought, honestly, I thought you're being a bit of a ninny. You're being a bit of a baby, and you're being a bit of a dramatic. What's the word? Like spoiled. Being a bit spoiled. I can't stay in this hotel. Like, I'm paying for it. You can fucking sleep there. It's just a bed. But no, I'll be. And then so I'd had enough of listening to. Like to his credit, he didn't go on and on about it, and I'd had enough of arguing about it. So he said, let's just go and get a different hotel. And he got on his phone, and he got a hotel that he was happy with, and he said, I'll treat you. I'll pay for your room. So you don't have to pay for it, Scott. Come to this nice hotel. And I said, okay, fine then. Just leave the bags here. And I thought, fucking stupid, because I've paid for this hotel. Now I'm wasting money on this hotel, which I didn't get back. I had to pay for it. But I said, fine, the bags will sleep in this room, and we will go to this nice hotel on your credit card or whatever, fine. And we went there, and it was really nice. It was a little bit more expensive. It was probably like a third more, or it wasn't double the price, but it was probably a bit more than I was paying. But what we got in exchange was individual rooms, nice big comfy bed, nice window onto Stockholm, and it was all done out like Scandinavian. Like the hotel I'd booked us was just like rooms, like shit rooms, but this one was like proper nice Scandinavian hotel with all the IKEA furniture, the clothes from IKEA. We had the breakfast in the morning. Like, it was so worth the money. I didn't pay, so but for me, realizing that okay, I'd made a budgetary choice and it was no frills and we could have got by, but the experience was totally different when we were in that hotel. I had a lovely time for a day and a half instead of just shabby. So my memory of that experience was like elevated. I was there working, but it turned like that part while we were in Stockholm, and Matt convinced me of this at the time. Like, I was always very frugal on all of these shoots. Oh, I don't need a sandwich. No, it's all right. Let's not go to Marks and Spencer's. Let's just buy some bread and some we can just make our own sandwiches. But now I realise that being a little bit more frivolous, and it's hard to say that in today's day and age when things are tough, when things are cost of living and all that, but like in the future, I'm building up the idea to do similar things, go out, do more shoots and stuff like that. Incidentally, this documentary, or what you're seeing behind me, is not in full 1080p. The final draft is on my hard drive, ready to be put out somewhere. This is a draft so that you can watch it on the internet, but it's the full movie. It's all there, so it looks a little bit sharper when you get to see the real thing. Anyway, I realised at the time that it made a big difference. It made a big difference that we got to enjoy ourselves and relax, and then we went out for dinner and the hotel was nice. And like in the future, I said to myself, I'm never going to like stitch myself up on a budget hotel for a thing like that, especially when like it's only a little bit more money in the long run. Now looking back, I don't like that £100, £200 doesn't make a big difference now. At the time it did, but I just think my advice to my old self would be, live a little, have a bit more luxury. To hell with poverty, throw another pea in the soup. Bad Gambler asks, 60% goth, 50% nerd. The LARP category, what's a LARP? I know a LARP as live action role player. So you like going in the woods and pretending to be a Dungeons and Dragons. I'm a wizard. And like live action role player. That's what I know it as. Anyway. Luxury. Yeah, okay, green, but not double green. I pressed back by mistake. Next. 7 of 22. I need to hurry up with these. I think I need to hurry up with these. I feel a strong connection to online communities and forums where I can engage with like-minded individuals and share my passions and interests. I have to click double good. We're doing it now. You're in my chat. I have to click double good for that. You're in my chat. I'm in the detractor community for Dark Side Phil and met loads of interesting friends. Steve is now on my podcast. I don't really go onto forums where you type and have a big row, but engaging with like-minded individuals, sharing passions, creative projects, being part of creative groups. Yeah, absolutely. Double good. Next. Good grooming and clean-cut appearances are crucial for making a good impression. Depends who you're making the impression on. So no, But yes, like in principle, you need to work on your physical appearance if you want to make a physical appearance impression on someone, and you will make an impression on someone whether you like it or not. So it's up to you how you want to come across. I guess, like, we don't think in that way, do we? We more think about how cool we look or how stylish, or I like the look of this jacket and this t-shirt, and I wear my hair like this and I've got a cap to keep it out of my face. But, you know, if I didn't shave every now and then or make any sort of... I talked about wearing this as an effort to like appear to be a bit more smart on screen. So I think yes, important. But it doesn't mean that you don't have to like have a shave and do your eyebrows and everything to make a good impression on everyone. Because some people like somebody to be a bit more rugged. And some people, it depends what you're doing. Like if you're turning up to mow their lawn, then the fact that you're wearing a suit might put them off. Do you know what I mean? Like it depends what you're asking of people. So yes, but not double yes. That's what I'm going to say. High quality, understated luxury goods are a tasteful way of signalling one's success. No. Double no. This is asking me if things you buy, even if they're not ostentatious, even if they're not flashy, even if they're not bling bling, if they're down, like, oh, I didn't notice you were wearing a really expensive suit. Yes, that's because it's a really expensive suit, and people who wear really expensive suits don't have the name plastered all over it. Yes, I'm not going to be the advert for the brand. I just have really expensive suits. You know, I understand that. Understated luxury goods. Oh, that's a nice car. What is it? Oh, it's a fucking Bugatti. But you don't know because you've never seen them. It's understated. It looks like a Ford. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying, right? I know what you're saying. But a tasteful way of signaling one's success, no. And I'll tell you for why. Because signaling your success is not tasteful. I don't believe there is a tasteful way of signalling one's success. I don't think you need to signal your success. I don't know if, like, luxury... This what it says is luxury goods equate to success. Having the ability to buy luxury goods signals success. Well, you can have a credit card and then you're successful then, yeah? So I don't even think that even works as a principle. And it depends how success... Like, having a big pile of money equates to success then, yeah? But I know from my life... Like, everyone's got their own different ideas, but I know from my life that if you give me the biggest pile of money in the world and I'm sat there with it, I still don't feel successful. I'm not like, job done, let's eat the money. Like, I still want to have relationships. Like, relationships with people you can't buy, and maybe, you know, some people have got loads of money, so a woman will want to go out with them and all that. Yeah, whatever. But, you know, I can't make people fall in love with me for money. Like, I can't establish and make connections and... Now, the things I want to achieve in my life, yeah, money's involved because I need to afford to do it, but I want to be able to have kids. And so I don't think loads of money, unless you're Jeffrey Epstein, loads of money doesn't get you any kids. That's a bad joke, isn't it? Was that a bad joke? Unless you're Jeffrey Epstein, I don't think loads of money...
Because you'd be in jail.
Unless you're Jeffrey Epstein, I don't think loads of money gets you loads of kids, does it?
Because you'd be in jail.
There you go, that's better. So I'm going to say no. I think a tasteful way of signalling your success would be to not do that. Don't signal your success. Just enjoy it and share it with other people. Actually, the most tasteful way, signalling is the wrong word here, but the most tasteful way of sharing your success would be to involve other people and share that success with them, give them some of the money, give them some of the jobs, the responsibilities, make them feel important and valued, because they are. Like, when I was doing my hairdressing salon, the most important thing for my success was that other people felt that they could I didn't get every opportunity to become what I wanted in that field. Like, I walked into jobs and they said, no thanks, not interested. And oh, what about me? Oh, no, you're a bit older. You're going to take a lot more training. Not really, you're not going to put up with all the shit that we make the Saturday Girl do. So, yeah, you're not for me. So I had a lot of trouble getting started. But when I got going, I was able to give that opportunity to other people. And my success was their success. So if other people got their qualifications or developed their client base or whatever, their success is my success. So the best way of signaling your own success is to share it with other people and to step back from thinking you're the big important one, I'm the big main one. It's all because of me and I'm so special, and start realising that you're lucky that you got to where you were because of so many other people. Like, if I ever got any great... I'm seeing myself as being quite successful at the moment on YouTube. It's going well. I want a bit more. Road to 10k. road to 10k. If you're watching this, you haven't subscribed, road to 10k, you chuffer. But the concept of the success being something that you can quantify and then show like that. I'm not down with this. I'm not down with this. Yeah. Got myself off track then by saying road to 5k, but I think that's fine. We need to move on from this one. So it's a no from me. Next. Winning is everything. The pursuit of victory should be relentless. It depends what you're doing. Like if you're playing Monopoly, it's not that important. What a weird question. What a weird question. What a weird question.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Irish Charm sent tippies. You seem really desperate for money. Enjoy the £3.
This is brilliant.
Super
Irish
Chuffer
Charm's
owes 3
blocked.
hugs.
Irish Charm is blocked, but they're not blocked from tipping me. And this is actually got to the beautiful point now where when we started talking about Allan, it started this ball of people being mean in the chat, people being mean in the tippies. Now it started that ball rolling. So that could even be Allan himself, or it could be one of his close cronies. There's not that many people who feel that up his bum to tippy me, but if they feel that, then go ahead, because in the iconic words of Darkseid to Phil, thanks for the money, dummy. No, you just give me £3. If you want £3 to insult me, go ahead. Irish Charm, you're going to have to do better than that. £3 to insult me. And obviously, you know, in you watching the broadcast and you know in the chat, like you're smart people, so I don't have to like defend myself against this. You're smart. You just see it and you just understand what's happening. So, you know, let's go ahead. If it has to be Scotty in the stocks for a while, go ahead. Get it out your system. Spend all your poker money on me. That's fine. Get it out your system. I could take it. Winning is everything. The pursuit of victory should be relentless. It depends what it is. It depends what it is. I used to be a sword fighter, a fencer, and it sounds a bit silly, but I went to school and I was in the rugby team and I didn't like getting stamped on in the rain. So I was looking for a slightly different aspect for my athletic outlet. And in the first year of school, I started fencing. I remember very vividly in the first year, I was in my little seat in my class, you know, nervous in the first year in my little seat in the class. First couple of weeks, one of the lads, they're in like the third or fourth year. Tom came in, I think Mike was there, and Paul and Simon, I think may have been. They came in and they said, we're the fencing team. We're at the school. This is us. You're in the school. And what we do is we hit each other with swords on a Wednesday. So if you want to hit your friends with swords and learn how to hit people with swords and defend yourself from being hit with a sword, come down. And every single person in the class said, that sounds like fucking brilliant. That sounds like great fun, doesn't it? Like, doesn't it? Do you want to hit me with the sword? Hang on. Do I want to hit you with the sword? That's what's the fun bit. The fun bit's when I hit you with the sword. Oh, right, yeah. Well, I'm going to hit you with the sword. Yeah, well, I'll hit you with the sword. Sounds great. I'll be there on Wednesday. Like, that was great. So we all turned up, and there was like 60 of us from the first year in this class on a Wednesday. And then Slinky Sex has changed her name in homage to me. Thank you for the super chat. So we all go to the fencing club. There's like 60 of us. Slinky Sex. We all go to the is what it is. We all go to the fencing club, and like it's one of these things where first week, you know, you think you're going to stab everyone with a sword, but they explain to you, look, there's some rules here. No hitting when someone's turning their back. Never take your mask off when you're being hit. You know, do the rules. And then we got a bit of bashing, and it's not that easy to hit each other with swords. And we're going to need to learn some technique. And then we started doing the lessons. And after that, you know, week by week, people drop out as it gets more lesson based and less chaotic. Hit each other with swords, because you need to learn principles of footwork first. You need to learn distance. You need to learn timing. It's a martial art. So whether you're hitting someone with a sword or like with a bat or with your hand, it's still distance, timing. It's still like posture, footwork, blade work, lots of stuff to learn. So, you know, I went ahead and carried on, and lots of people dropped out. Eventually it got down to a team of about, you know, in that year it got down to about 8-10 people, and it dwindled to about, you know, 5 or 6 that really stuck with it, and I was one of those people. But by doing that, I got to have the greatest time of my life with some of the greatest people of my life. Winning was not everything. Not everything. Being part of the team was everything. Helping other people to their pursuit of victory was everything. But at the same time, my pursuit of victory was important too. And when I was 13 and we went around the club and the coach said, what do you want to be? What do you want to get out of this? We're doing a thing on like a brainstorming thing on the pinboard. And I said, I want to go to the Olympics. And everyone laughed. And he said, don't laugh at him because like I'm putting that on the pinboard, go to the Olympics. And I didn't get to the Olympics, but I did get to the World Championships. And the things I learned from that man, from my coach, my mentor, basically saved my life and made me who I am today. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm very grateful for that. And I didn't win the World Championships. I did win an international. So I'm getting emotional because he's dead. He died and it was sad. He died during the COVID and I didn't get to say goodbye and stuff like that. So that was sad. Winning was not everything. You know, winning was not everything, but it was pretty high up there. It was pretty high up there. And my pursuit of victory, relentless, is not the word. You know those, do you remember the adverts, eat football, sleep football, drink Coca-Cola? It's like you have to, if you want to be victorious, like the thing that's happening while you're sat watching the telly is someone else is training. Like, I remember, I can hear his words saying it to me today. While you're sat, like you go to the fencing club, you want to mess about. You want to go around the back and smoke some fags. You want to mess about. You want to just, you know, he came to us one day while we were sitting around. He said, look, we're here at fencing club and I'm here to teach you and you can sit with your bags here. But in Poland right now, they're having a lesson. And in France right now, they're learning their footwork. So when you come and fight the Polish and the French in competition, because you want to go to the high levels, like they're the top, they use those examples because they were the top people at the time, you know. They're going to be that step ahead. They're going to be like one lesson ahead now. This is you one step behind. So, yeah. Your pursuit of victory should be relentless.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Irish Charm sent tippies. Why block a lovely lady? Can take criticism. Enjoy coffee on me, baby. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
You know what's going on now? I'm getting rich off Irish Charm's vitriol. Winning is everything. The pursuit of victory should be relentless. Like, no stone left unturned. Let me tell you this, no stone left unturned. Diet, sleep pattern, no. Smoking, no. Raving, no. But diet, mental preparation. We had a psychological coach. We had a physiological coach. You know, we did fitness tests. We did the bleep test. We learned. We were open to other sports. Like, David used to bring in ideas from other practice, you know, like you go and look at how tennis coaching is being done and then bring an idea and stuff like that. Grew the club. Like, the club when I was there was a small club. Now it's like one of the national centres for fencing. The pursuit of victory is, if you're in pursuit of victory and you are not relentless, you are not going to be victorious. You understand? So winning is not everything, but the pursuit of victory is, relentlessness is the pursuit of victory. Oh, I don't know how to answer this. Winning is everything, definitely not. The pursuit of victory should be relentless, 100%. But not in this context. You don't need to pursue victory all your life. Like, it depends what you want and what you're doing. Like, if you're hell-bent on pursuing, like, let's say, for example, it's me versus, like, I've got a little shop and over the road there's another little, like hairdressing. My pursuit of victory over my rivals is relentless. Then I'm never going to be happy because there's always going to be other shops and I'm never going to win. Like, it depends what you're fighting for. So I'm going to put no to this. I think in that context, the way they've worded it, I can understand no. Winning is not everything, and the pursuit of victory need not be relentless. Not in every context. But what I was taught by David through his coaching, through his drawing it out of me and teaching me to apply myself, was that if I should choose to be victorious and also am relentless, I will be victorious. And it's not your choice, and it's not everyone else's choice, it's my choice. So, you know, I know that when I choose to set my mind to something, I'm not saying every time I'm going to win, because for me, winning was going to the World Championships. It wasn't winning the World Championships. I wanted to get to the Olympics, get into the World Championships. I got my special jacket, I got my special tracksuit, and I got my bag, and I got my name on my back, and GBR, and like, you know, I made it to where at that point, the next step was I didn't carry on with it and go to that next step, but you know, I felt I didn't need to win the competition, but to achieve being at the competition for me was a victory. So yeah, next. Pain and sacrifice are necessary for achieving greatness. No, not at all. You don't have to hurt. Sacrifice is relative. I would say yes. You know, I feel like I'm talking about fencing again because I've been through that whole process of attempting to achieve greatness there. But then I'm thinking about music. Now, I see people who don't sacrifice and don't have to go through pain, but are just beautiful and talented, and I love them. So I hope they didn't sacrifice and had to go through pain to achieve that greatness. I hope they didn't. You know, I hope for some people that they can have a calm and peaceful life and still bring out their talents and their beauty. Pain and sacrifice is not necessary for achieving greatness. However, a lot of great people will be prepared to sacrifice and are prepared to fight through the pain. I'm not saying that you don't hurt. I'm not saying things don't hurt. I'm saying, like, it's, you know, a number of times today, you can see in me that I'm starting to feel a little bit emotional when I'm talking about some of these things because of people that I've lost that have taught me so much, and it means so much in my heart. So it's about being able to handle the pain and push through it. That's important. Achieving greatness, yeah, being human, for you to not sink when the weather gets choppy, for you to not be cowed when people start shouting, to be able to go through some pain, to take some sacrifice, to achieve, in my opinion, just being able to survive these days. Just being able to survive these days. That's how I feel about that. I don't know if you achieve greatness through it, but I've certainly had to do it. And it's not because I've had to sacrifice or feel the pain in order to be great. It's just that I have to sacrifice and feel pain because I'm human, and life provides me with an endless supply of things that hurt, and I have to make an endless series of difficult choices and sacrifice things. So that's how I feel about that. Pain and sacrifice are necessary? No, not at all. I mean, I understand the concept. You want to be great, work harder. You want to be great, sacrifice more. You want to be great, take the pain. But that's almost a sadomasochistic view of coaching. Like, you don't have to beat greatness into people. You can bring it out in different ways. So I'm very grateful that no one tried to. I saw both sides of that. My coach wasn't a bully. But I did have, we went to Poland a number of times, we went to France a couple of times, we saw different training all over the world, and we were in different people's classes, and I had some training sessions where they literally pushed me through pain, like literally, like physically, like trying to make, like, do the stretch, and they're literally pushing me on the back, and it's hurting, and they keep pushing me. Or we did this one where we were doing this running. Snips knows this story, she always knows this story, Snips does. We went this is a fun story, and I love the guy still, even to this day, R.I.P. Mike. But this other coach, Mike Matthews, who is Polish, Mieczek, he took us out to the running track in the morning after breakfast, and he said, run. Like, because he's limited English, he said, run. So we all set off, you know, ran, and as fast as we could. Like, who's first, who's second, who's third, and like, you know, we run, come to the end, and he's like, when they got to the end where the coach was, he said, no, run. Like, you've done one lap, run. And everyone carried on running, and then, like, we were running, and like, he got to lunchtime, and like, I physically couldn't keep running. And what it wasn't run the farthest, the fastest, the longest, or anything. It was run until you can't run. And he wanted to just run until you can't run, and you had to show him where your level was. And like, he didn't tell you or anything, he just said run, and nobody really knew what was going on. And like, that was a weird lesson, and I feel like that at some point, like, I had to push through certain pains in that one, and that was the theme of that camp, actually, to be fair, pushing through like certain pains. Sometimes some people believe in that as a process, but I don't believe in it as a process. I don't think it's necessary for everyone. I think some people respond badly to it as well. So pain and sacrifice are necessary? No. Next. Rejecting societal norms is a key aspect of personal freedom. You should be free to agree with societal norms if you should want to, but initially rejecting them is important, yes. Because if you don't reject the societal norms, how do you know you're choosing them? You know, if you give me a blue jumper every day and I always wear a blue jumper, and then you say, okay, what jumper do you want to wear? And I say, I like the blue one. Well, do you? Yeah, I actually do. But you've never tried all the other jumpers. No. So, but I know I like the blue one, so I'm not rejecting the norms. It's my freedom to choose the norms. Yeah, but if you try the red one, then the green one, then the red one, and then the yellow one, and then you try the blue jumper again, and tell me now you've tried the others, you're sure, then I can understand that. But if you've never tried the others, how do you know that you're making that choice? Is it a choice, or is it a perceived choice out of habit? So I'm going to say yes, rejecting societal norms is a key aspect of personal freedom. The ability to do so is intrinsic to society. If you're not able to reject societal norms, well, what does happen? Because I've studied sociology to degree level, what does happen is you reject the social norms and then you're seen as an outsider, an outcast. You're not part of the group because people can see you doing things that are not in the norms.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Irish Charm sent tippies. I'm sorry if I was rude and offended you. Can we be friends again? I'm sorry you were upset earlier XX.
I've not been upset.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
I've not been upset. If you're talking about when I feel things about my my coach from the past, like that doesn't, it's not upset. It's an emotion. It's like grief. It's the absence of someone who, like, the thing I'm most sad for is that I suppose upset is a funny word, but the thing I'm most sad for is that I never got to say to him, you know, direct, like, thank you, you know, to sit by him by his deathbed. And that goes for my nan too. So, you know, that was COVID, wasn't it? And lots of people went through that. So it's not like I'm upset. Oh, I got a bit upset. It's that I've got emotions and I'm okay to have them. And that's cool. I understand. Thank you as well. I'll be more gracious because I see you as being cantankerous, but I'll be more gracious if you're going to apologise. Thanks. But don't worry. I'm not like upset. And upset implies some sort of emotional instability. That's not what's happening. I've got emotional human feelings and they come and I feel them and then I let them pass and it's cool. I'm in total control of that. Like, it's not like it's bubbling up and I'm going to suddenly lose my shit. Like, I'm in total control of it. And if I want to, I can lean into it and have a little cry. Like when we played Bramble the other day, at the end of that, it made me cry. So I said, you know what? Let's let this go and have this little cry. Right? It's important when it's there to just feel it and allow it. But yeah, I'm totally in control of that. I'm happy. I'm happy, not upset. Rejecting societal norms is a key aspect of personal freedom, yes. If you're not able to do so, you don't have personal freedom. And what I was saying was that when you do so, it doesn't matter that you're allowed to. Oh, I'm allowed to dress like a lady if I want to. Yeah, but what are you doing dressed like a lady? So then you get society push back and say, you're not adhering to the norms. What's going on here? Because the minute you start, and I've lived this life, the minute you're not adhering to the norms, they all look at, well, the norms, well, I'm adhering to the norms. We all adhering to the norms. So what are you saying about us? Or do we have to still adhere to the norms? I don't like it. You're making me feel uncomfortable because you're challenging my perception of who I am and what life is. So we're going to have to shut you down. So rejecting social norms, key aspect, double thumbs up. Next. Tradition and etiquette are important to uphold. You put two together. Why do they do this to me? What do you think about this one? Irish Charm and Scott are going to get married, says Colette. Only if it's Emma in disguise. Whee! You're invited at the wedding reception. The wedding invitation say you are invited to a work meeting. You're invited to a work meeting between Emma White and Scotty Hottie, to be held at Marsh Farm Hall, obviously. Big marquee there going to spare. Big marquee there, not being used, at Marsh Farm Hall. You're invited to a work meeting. Tradition and etiquette are important to uphold. Now listen to me. This is important you hear this. Tradition is rubbish. It goes in the bin. Oh, but what about, but I like that. Wait, hear me out. Do you still wear wooden shoes? No. No, you don't. Do you still go out in the garden and do a poo in a little outhouse out the back? That was traditional. You don't do that. Do you have a traditional haircut? Probably not. Some people do. But have you got a tradition in your country of wearing a certain kind of clothing, and do you dress like that every day? Do you eat the traditional food on a day-to-day basis? Like, why would you, when you've got all this modern stuff, all this great new stuff, are you using a computer and a phone? Like, so it's not traditional then, yeah? It's not, no, it has nothing to do with tradition then. Are you driving a car or are you getting on a bus? Like, not tradition then. Oh, it's traditional in this house that we all watch the telly. No, it's not, because the telly didn't exist. Like, you just make up your own traditions now. Don't you? Oh, it's traditional in our house for Christmas. We have this and that. What do you? Because Victoria decided that she was going to have a tree or a turkey or something, then everyone else did it. But before that, it wasn't traditional. It used to be traditional that boys wear pink when they're little boys. Pink was the masculine colour. But that's changed. So all traditions are up for grabs and change then, yeah? Absolutely up for grabs and change. And you're not going to live a traditional lifestyle, are you? Some people do want to do it. They want to go out in the woods, don't they? They want to do it, live in a little wattle and daub house with a little fire and, you know, whittle some sticks. The rest of us are on the fucking internet. So get over it. Tradition's in the bin. If you want to use the internet, no more tradition, everything. Tradition not important. Keep it. Now hear me out. If you want to keep certain bits, but it's our, you know, culture and it's been around for all these years and we want to make sure it's memorialized and it's remembered, so we still do the traditional dance at Easter, or we still do the traditional, little bit of pageantry to remember it by. Okay. But you're forced to learn the traditional dance, otherwise you're not a proper member of our community. Absolutely not. Don't be stupid. I dance however I fucking want. Like, a lot of the traditions that were important have gone in the bin. You can't make me do the special May Day dance because of tradition if you're not going to also go and shit in a hole in the garden because of tradition. Because you're not going to do that, so I don't have to do that. No one's making anyone do any of that. When did boys wear pink? I think it was Edwardian, Dover and Dolly's. I think it was Edwardian that boys wore pink. I'll confirm it for you with the internet. Boys wore... And it's cultural shift as well, like, around the world. You know, there's cultural shift. Today I found out, I don't know if this is reputable, but gender identification by colour began in the early 20th century. Before this, pink and blue did not hold specific gender connotations. The 1920s, pink was deemed by many guides to be appropriate for boys and blue for girls. So, like, in the 1920s. So there you go. Like, all this tradition stuff is just total... Some people want to hold on to stuff. I'll tell you what, nationalists would like to leverage tradition. Nationalists would like to leverage it. Oh, you are British, and British means that you do this, and British means that you do that. But you don't have to do this other stuff like pooing the hole in the ground, and, like, you know, you're allowed to go to school these days, and we've got equality, and you don't have to work in a factory, and you don't have to, like, you know, but tradition means we don't have blacks in the country, or, like, you know, rubbish like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, so we're not having any of that either. I'm not having nationalism leverage tradition against me. Like, we're gonna have the coronation in a few days.
Again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish.
King Charles sent tippies. Don't listen to Irish charm. She deserves what becomes of her. To the tower and off with her head. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
There you go. You got served. Irish charm. You got served. You'll have to banter back if you want to deal with King Charles. Like, I'm a big believer in the beauty of the pageantry as well. I'm happy to have it. You know, King Charles and all that. We can talk about it as a separate issue, but, you know, I think it's great to have the traditions. It's lovely that we revel in some of them. The ones we enjoy, obviously, we pick and choose. So I think it's important to remember that you don't have to be forced into picking and choosing any of it. That the modern world of phones and modernity and future is better than all the traditions. We abandon the traditions the minute we feel that they're not serving us. It's only the pageantry that's left, really. Like, all the other bad ideas got buried in the past, didn't they? So tradition, no. Etiquette, yes. You need to learn the social, non-verbal communication and verbal sometimes with etiquette, and you need to learn the, like, there's like a social behaviour pattern that's taught to you in etiquette that if we all understand it, then everyone understands a certain way of behaving. Yes, important. Otherwise, you're just going around like a like, when I say you don't adhere to the norms of a society, I don't mean that you don't have to be nice to people. You know, etiquette to me comes down to being nice a lot of the time, but some of the social etiquette that I was taught by my dad, by my parents, I suppose, about, like, opening a door for somebody, about using a knife and fork in the correct way, about if I'm at the dinner table and I need to pick something out of my mouth, I'm going to put my hand in front of my mouth and just do that so that you don't have to see the food. If I was in another country, I might be actually eating with my hands, not a knife and fork. That might be their etiquette. So you need to understand the etiquette for the lay of the land around you so you don't accidentally and clumsily offend or appear to be boorish and rude, because you wouldn't want to, would you? That would be sad. So yes, etiquette, but tradition, no. And I think the way they're labeling it in together, I think, you know, certain etiquettes, oh, I have to call you lady this and I have to bow and curtsy to you because, no, fuck that. I don't need that etiquette. Obviously, I'll treat you with like human respect, like as a peer, but certain etiquettes that are predicated on hierarchy, no, we don't need them. So again, I'm going to go no with this. Double no. Important to uphold? No, not at all. Not at all. It's nice if you want to, and you can enjoy certain things, but let's not be levered by nationalism. Let's not be levered into being a, you know, selfish, small-minded, narrow-minded person because, oh, you know, this is how we do it and they don't do it and we do it and they don't. So, like, you know, not that, but I'll put not quite double bad because some of them I will have impeccable etiquette. If we go to dinner, I will know how to talk to the waiter, use the wine list. I will know, you know, to pull your chair out and seat you, and like, you know, I will have I will attempt to have impeccable etiquette because I want to behave socially with manners so that people feel happy with my behaviour, like socially, like they're not offended and angered by my boorish, rude behaviour. Do you understand? Like, I've been a hairdresser for like a long time as well, and having a certain amount of social etiquette in those situations is important, isn't it? Would you like to come and take a seat? Could I get you a cup of coffee? Like, you know, nice ways to be to people instead of sit there. What do you want to drink? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, etiquette, I feel, is a bit like that. So, they'd wrap the two together. Next, 14. Life is often unpredictable and chaotic, yes. And that is part of what makes it interesting. Double agree. You can't disagree with that. What can you do? Colette says that's just being a gent, isn't it? I don't know. You know, maybe it's not just etiquette then. I don't know. I don't think it's a gentlemanly thing as well. I'd do that if you were a man or a woman. Like, I don't think it's like, I suppose I'm a man, so I should do it, and I don't expect. I kind of expect it of a woman insofar as, you know, if I've got a box of stuff and I'm walking towards a door, you're going to open the door for me, or does it just because I'm a man you don't open the door and you're a woman? Well, we still have social etiquette that we, you know, adhere to in that way, you know, allowing people to pass in a corridor or, you know, pleases and thank yous. I think we all deserve a bit of etiquette. I think we all deserve to be treated in that respectful way, I suppose. But yeah, maybe it is being a gent as well. Maybe there is a part of that. And maybe a part of that is an old traditional view of what a man should be and how a person should behave. And maybe that's a tradition, and maybe I am hanging on to it. But as I said, we pick and choose the ones that we want to. Got myself in a bit of a bind there. Number 14. Life is often unpredictable and chaotic. That's part of what makes it interesting. You can't say it's not, can you? Like, it definitely is unpredictable and chaotic. And what makes it interesting is that, yes, double. I can't even unpack that. 15. Traditional male gender roles and expressions of masculinity are important and should be celebrated. No. Yes, no. I mean, just as much as any other form of... No, maybe less so than another form of... how do I explain this? Like, when you say traditional, I assume we're packing in some bad things as well as some good things. I assume what we're saying is men do all the work and women do all the cleaning and, you know, shit like that. So no. But somewhere there is, like, if I were to say the barbarian character, like the archetypal barbarian should not be celebrated. No, yeah, that goes in there like all the other archetypes, yeah. It's an archetype. And we should celebrate all archetypes. Someone will identify with that. But how far are we saying traditional? What does traditional mean in this case? You know, traditional to be a gentleman or traditional to prevent you from having a vote? You know, how traditional do you want me? I believe when you're talking about this gender aspect of being a gentleman as well, being a gentleman in this aspect is about support. I've said it before. Like, a gender role is mistaken here. The gender role is that the man should be the dominant, powerful one. I'm the big, strong. But if you are so strong and big and powerful, then you should be, as I said earlier about using your success, you should be empowering others. You should be holding back barriers for people so that they themselves can feel heard and empowered. You know, like, it's not great to be like great, big, boorish and in charge. Therefore, I've got the loudest voice, so I'm the one that gets heard. Like, if that's what's happening, you need to shout, "Shut up! I can't hear these people," and get these other voices heard. Like, it seems so obvious to me. That should just be obvious. So I'm going to say traditional gender roles and expressions, no. Not really, but you understand that I'm only going to put one red because there are some that should. Like, you know, I think the world heavyweight champion of boxing is something to be celebrated. I know it's archaic and someone's got to have their head punched off and there's all sorts of different questions, but, you know, the skill and the art of unarmed, regulated, slightly combat, you know, I just think there is something in that. It's a human trait to fight for survival in this way, and although I don't promote violence or condone, you know, street violence or anything like that, sport, combat sport and stuff like that, expressions of masculinity can be celebrated in those. I made a film about the world's strongest man, for Christ's sake, so I think I have done that myself. So I'm going to put in the middle. I can see why we start, like, there are some really healthy and positive viewpoints from that world. It's not, but you've put traditional male gender roles, not modern male strongman, because modern male strongman supports his wife and in her endeavours wants to be supportive and allow her to have her own voice. Traditional male strongman, wife, shut up and cook my dinner. So you're right. I see Eggy's being written in chat a lot. I hope is someone in chat getting Eggy, because I'm certainly not feeling Eggy. I'm having quite a nice time, so I hope that you're all right. But it might just be that you're bantering about with the meme. I'm going to put middle way there next. 16 to 22. Death, the supernatural, and the macabre hold a certain allure and beauty. That's the goth one. That's the goth one. You put them all together again. Death, no, I don't beautiful death. Scary. Mind you, I used to watch those live leaks. Do you remember? I don't know if you've seen this. Have you seen the videos on YouTube? Like they used to have websites like gore websites and live leak. So it's like the worst things you can, like, man loses hand in machine.
It's raining
or
again.
something.
I couldn't be happier.
Swish.
Irish Charm sent tippies. Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Irish Charm's back in the gang now. That one's neutral. That one's a neutral super chat. Irish Charm is back in the gang, and if they do a positive one, I might even unblock them on the chat. You can get yourself unblocked for money. I'm sure money gets you a lot of places in this world. You know, it's not going to get you sucked off, but in this room, but it might get you back in the chat. The vegan as well for the eggy meme, actually. Vegan eggs, thank you. Death, the supernatural, and macabre hold a certain allure. I've watched certain allure. I don't know about beauty, but I've watched all those horror show videos of the deaths and the tragedies and the. There was a documentary about people jumping out of the 9/11 building. Like, people jumped out of that building, and you can't say that you weren't like, oh my god. Like, people slow down for car crashes, don't they? It's not that death has an allure, but I have found myself drawn and like almost compulsively. You know, when you get down a rabbit hole on the internet and you're watching video after video, and you're like, oh my god. Like, those they don't exist so much anymore. They still do, but Live Leak's been taken down now. But it used to be like Live Leak was an alternative to YouTube where you could see all the worst things that had happened in the world. And I have seen it. I don't know if I enjoyed it, but I did watch it. So certain allure. There is a certain allure to that. The supernatural, yes. Everyone wants to know if they're in and out, and maybe, we've got the tarot cards. We keep talking about them, but I haven't managed to fit into our schedule regular tarot sessions yet. But there's a project in the works behind the scenes to bring that back to this channel with a bit of an impetus. I want to do a stream where somebody explains all the different cards to me. So we've got things in the works. Things take a bit of time sometimes, but we've got them in the works. So yeah, absolutely, that's supernatural. And the macabre, well, the macabre, I mean, how long have we been talking about this dead Nicola Bulley in the river? We don't talk about her like, the worst aspects of it much, do we? We're trying to uncover who we think did it, but I suppose we're not that interested in the macabre aspects, are we? Not like that Jason Dean Rothwell and stuff like that. You know, we're not out there trying to, like, you know, get photographs of a dead body. So we're not that interested in the macabre. You're all talking about eggs, now you're talking about making babies, so you're not helping me out on this. You're not interested in the macabre at all. You're interested in eggs. Which in itself is slightly macabre, because that's a dead chicken baby, in a way, isn't it? Don't want to put you off your eggs. So, and beauty, allure and beauty. I understand what they mean, though. I'll tell you what. Oh, I'll tell you what. You know, talking about Kerrang and those goth girls, let me just quickly put this. Goth girl. I hope I've got safe search. Actually, I'll do it on YouTube with safe search. Not YouTube, Google with safe search. Goth girl. If you just type that in, you get some very good looking people, in my opinion, come up on the old search. Like, I don't have a type necessarily, but like, I would definitely get married to someone who looked like that. That's a good type to have. I mean, it's a makeup style and a thing, isn't it? So it's not a type, is it? It's not a real personality. It's like just how she's dressed. But do you know what I mean? Like you type that into Google, and there's some quite good-looking people that are dressed up in this aesthetic. So is it beautiful? Like, yeah, I can't argue with that. Maybe when you go this way, it starts. That's not beautiful with the thing on the mouth. But these days, you know, you're sort of somewhere in the middle, aren't you? You're not quite what I recognise as a traditional goth. So you're not quite as, like, you can be quite sexy with it, can't you? Does that mean that I'm interested in the macabre and the macabre has beauty? I mean, how far do we go and where does it stop? Where does it end? Like, this is like more cyber goth. I'm scrolling down to try and find a really, like, okay, this one started to be on the borderline. There's the borderline for me. Yes. But what's with the eye? Can we do something with the eye? Or is that, I mean, if you've got a funny eye, I didn't want to say that. I apologise if you've got, I think that might be a contact lens thing though. I'll take that out. And the big hoopy ears, like, you don't notice them at first, but then she's got those really big things. It's your choice, it's your choice, but it's not for me necessarily. I'd be like, ooh, kind of might have preferred your ears with just the normal. I mean, that's how I wouldn't have done it. I don't have to, you know, if I could still marry her and love her despite this thing in her ear, but this is where we're starting to push the look into a place where I stopped seeing it as being so beautiful, and it has an aesthetic quality that other people might enjoy, but for me it's not as, like, see the difference here? This is slightly more beautiful, slightly more delicate, and we get into a slightly more, when we get into a much more, and again I'm just trying to find someone who's a bit more Marilyn Manson, you know, a bit more off the curve, that's gone a bit more wild with it, and it starts to, you know, beauty's the wrong word for it then. It's still a strong aesthetic, but beauty's the wrong word for it if we go too far, I suppose. So, what was my question? What was my question now? Death, the supernatural and the macabre hold a certain allure and beauty. Yeah. A certain allure, yes. Beauty, no. Next. Family is a source of pride and support and should be respected and cherished 100%. Although, I tick that, without even thinking, I tick it 100%, and then I remember what's about to happen to me in the next 2 days, and I think, God, like, in principle, that's right. And individually, individual members of my family individually are all very supportive. There's a lot of respect, and I'm very proud of them, and I hope, you know, in some way I make them proud. But when you get them all together. When you get them all together, I don't know if this is the same with your family, and like when you take that onto the next level, like we've had these big family events that have been very enjoyable, where like lots of the wider family have come together. That's been really good over the years, and then there have been other ones. There have been other ones. No, in the main, they've not. When we get the bigger family together, it's always very good. I think when you get the more and the more, it's very good. But I suppose there's been fringe cases of one or two that don't get on with hits so and so here and there, isn't there? Neil's saying Sharon Osbourne's a hot goth. So, you're not bothered about what I'm talking about. It's fine. It's fine. You're all just chatting. You're deciding who's the hottest goth still, aren't you? So it's fine. We'll go back to that. I'll just put that back up and fine. To be honest, I don't need to. I'll just take a break from it. You just talk about goths. You don't need me, do you? No, it's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. No, I don't. No, it's fine. No, I don't. No, it's fine. No, it's fine, really. No. No, you go ahead. No, it's fine. No, I'm just going to stay here. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. No, I'm not. No, it's fine. No, it's fine. You don't need me. It's fine. You can come back. No. Told you it's fine. So, family and pride, yeah. Who's going to say no to that? Come on, next. I mean, you could say no to it. We could all have different family experiences, couldn't we? But I also believe, just to settle that thing on family, I also believe that if family is not a source of pride and support for you, respected and cherished, then you've got an opportunity in the future to try and make your own family ties with people that you believe offer you support and pride and respect. So, pride is not a virtue. It's conflated these days. It's not a virtue in the Christian sense. You know, pride is one of the deadly sins, but you get the concept, and I believe that you have the opportunity to find that, even if you're not finding it in your own. You can make your own family in the world, can't you? You can find people that you love and bond with them. Next, I often find myself absorbed in hobbies such as video games, coding, or model building, because I'm a massive geek. Like, do you want to make this question any more clear? Are you a massive geek? Do you know the formula for nylon? Do you know the chemical formula for dry ice? Do you know the chemical formula for felidopamine? You know, do you know the biological phylum of a tapeworm? Like, are you a massive geek, are you now? Do you like video games? Do you like chess? Do you like chess? Have you got a big pair of glasses and a little bow tie? And have you got little braces and a little suitcase? You took a briefcase to school. Like, come on, asking this question like this, it's so pointed. I often find myself, yes, I do often find myself absorbed in hobbies such as video games. I fucking love it. Coding, I said impresario the other day, and I learned what the word meant. It didn't mean what I thought it meant, so I'm not impressive at coding. And I've done a little bit of coding in my time, but I'm not addicted. I'd love to do more. In fact, I'm a producer, so I know now that I'm never going to learn the depth of coding that I need to create the things I would like to create. But in the coming years, one of the things we're going to do with this money, the tippies, we're going to create a bit of media. And one of the things I want to do is I'm going to make a video game. There's the cat again. She's in now. Cat is in now. So we're going to have Cat. Yeah. Don't complain. You can't complain. You can come here and have a cuddle. But there's no complaining. I'll just let you in. You can't come in and complain. You have a cuddle. Okay? Look, she's crawling off. You see, she does it. So she's just complaining me. Do I wear glasses? No. Contact lenses. What was I going to say? Absorbed in hobbies, coding and model building. Used to love doing a bit of model building and messing about when I was a kid. I'm sure most of us have had the opportunity. In fact, we still got on the cards things I've got to fit in. I've got a box of sushi here, but you'd be surprised. It's all made of plastic, and you have to build it yourself. Each individual grain of rice. So that's going to be a project we're going to do together on stream one of these days, on a rainy day. Got that planned for years. I've had that planned now for months and months and months. So I do like doing that sort of stuff, yes. And as I was saying, I'm hoping to, at some point, have the budget to employ some coding people so that we can create a video game ourselves, create our own little indie game and see how that goes. So, yeah, I do find myself, yes, double click, even though it's geeky. I know you're going to say it means I like train spotting. Right, next. Gaming offers great opportunities for learning, problem solving, and socialization. Double thumbs up, yes. Like, for whatever kind of thing you want to, like, not everything you want to learn, but a lot of spatial awareness, a lot of learning styles can be approached through gaming. Problem solving is a core component of most games, even though it's not really intrinsically designed to be an intelligence booster, as we discussed earlier. Scott self-interruption count 5. I actually do self-interrupt all the time. Part of our streams is the fact that I take a tangent. Tangents on tangents on tangents, and eventually get back around to where you were going. Gaming offers great opportunities. Double yes. I mean, I can't say no. I've always enjoyed gaming all my life, and that doesn't just mean computer games. Gaming is a wider context as well. Gaming includes Monopoly. You know, gaming includes a game of cards with your nan or what have you. Can we build a Lancaster bomber? Asks Lottie. Well, we've got to build the sushi first. That's promised. It's like a patience thing, the sushi thing. Like, it's supposed to be one of these fun things where you've got to glue together every individual grain of rice. So it's about like patience and stuff. And I haven't even got the patience to start doing the blooming thing. It needs a quiet day. Do you know what I mean? It needs one of those quiet days where I'm like, okay, today's the quiet day. It's raining. Let's build some sushi. And I've got the camera top down, and we're gonna, you know, it's gonna be a nice little one. And then if it's successful, we can have a look at a Lancaster bomber if you want. But next, 20 of 22, we're nearly there. Fantasy, science fiction, and comic books offer unique perspectives on the world and humanity. If you like Alan Moore, I'll just say Alan Moore, Alan Moore, Alan Moore. Wait, go YouTube for this. Go YouTube for this. Alan Moore. Let's have a little bit of Alan Moore. Alan Moore. Let's just put that and let's see if there's an Alan Moore talks. Here's 5 minutes of Alan Moore talks Watchmen. Here's Alan Moore from a while ago. 3 minutes of him. This is him discussing it for a documentary. So I don't know which one to pick really. Oh, this one.
Men also grew out of the politically shadowy landscape of the 1980s, when the Cold War was probably at its hottest in 20 or 30 years, and when nuclear destruction suddenly seemed a very real possibility. Watchmen used the cliches of the superhero format to try and discuss notions of power and responsibility in an increasingly complex world.
So Watchmen used the tropes of superheroes to try and discuss power and responsibility. So yeah, that's exactly what you were asking me, wasn't it? In the thing, can fantasy, science fiction, and comic books offer unique perspectives on the world and humanity? Yeah, totally, yeah. And fantasy and science fiction are great, aren't they? Like, just 100%. That's always great fun to watch something. Like, these days, like, it used to be that sci-fi, you're a bit of a geek, sci-fi. Do you want to go and watch the 2001 A Space Odyssey? That's boring. But nowadays, everyone wanted to watch Interstellar, didn't they? Like, everyone wanted to watch it. So it's become, like, the main big one, science fiction, in a way. Rather than just, like, a side room, you know, Star Trekkies. It's become one of the main big ones, like... Yeah, next. Physical fitness and competition are important aspects of personal growth and development. Yes, like physical fitness is important. I'm going to say yes. I'm not going to say that everyone has the same physical, like, template, but whatever your style, shape, or whatever, like, you know, some form of fitness is important, isn't it? Like, and... I mean, for Christ's sake, we've got the Paralympians like showing us the way. There are people that have had, like, there are people with disabilities that are more physically fit than me. So, like, there's no, it's totally. I don't think there's many people who are like, physical fitness is not a part of my life. You know, I don't think there's many people, and I'm trying to keep the door open for the few people that there are who, you know, don't see that as an important facet, but. Overall, I'd say no, it is.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Irish Charm sent tippies. Don't know why you blocked me. I was probably rude. Forgive me, XX. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
I can forgive you, Irish Charm. I can. You know, that's quite easy to do. Unblocking you is a bit more confusing for me because, like, I wouldn't know where to start. So I'll have to try and find out. I'll have to do it. I'm not going to do it now, so sorry, but because I'm doing this now. But finding out how to unblock someone will be on my list of things to do. So, you know, keep an eye out for that. And yeah, I can forgive people. That's fine. But there is also the aspect of, whilst I do forgive people, like allowing them to then come back and do the same thing again and again, like repeating the same mistakes is not, like, that's not, like, forgiveness doesn't mean that then somebody, like, this is a funny thing because it's come up with the narcissist work that we did. Like, the narcissist will love bomb you so that you feel that, oh, everything's okay again, and they'll give you this love bomb dosing so that you feel like you're important again, everything's good. And all they're doing really is just trying to get you to change your mind to go back to the status quo so they can worm their way back in. And then when they're back in, the bad behaviour starts again. And it can be even worse. So the narcissist is... like, what I learned through that is the narcissist is doing it as a repeating cycle. And so if you're part of that cycle... I'm not saying you're a narcissist and this is the cycle. I'm just saying that if... in anyone, forgiveness, you know, forgiveness is yes, forgiveness, no animosity and all that, but then opening myself up to be directly attacked in the same way repeatedly, that doesn't mean, like, forgiving someone doesn't mean you have to let them go ahead and go and do what they want again. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're two separate things, but the narcissist conflates the two. Physical fitness and competition are important aspects of personal growth and development, yes, double yes. Like, you need to be competitive. You need to, like, have that understanding. It doesn't mean everything has to be competitive, but you need to understand competition. You need to have taken part in competitions to be personally growing and developing. Yeah. Like, even if you don't choose to compete in the future, to have competed, you will learn things. Physical fitness, again, like, I don't think there's many people to whom any aspect of fitness is, like, we should all have some aspect of physical fitness. So yes, next. The darker and more mysterious aspects of life are fascinating and worthy of exploration. Double yes, goth. Double yes, goth. Like, double yes, like, absolutely. Like, it's part of the romance. When we're going back to this very early picture that we started with, that, and I mean, that's a little girl, so it's supposed to be Wednesday Addams, isn't it? But, like, the romantic aspect of the Addams family themselves, you know, they were in those... Gothic is actually an architectural style, isn't it? It's actually like a historic architectural style. It's like a time and a place from... Am I right in thinking it's more from Czechia and places like that? So, like, there is a romance attached to this... with the Addams family as well, they tie in Victorian aspects, because Victoria lost Albert and then she went into mourning and only wore black, and that's what started off all this black and funerals being all this way. And so there's this romance with that as well, isn't there? And then the Kurt Cobain figure as well, you know, the darker aspects of his life, the troubles, the struggles. As Allan said, most artists have been depressed, and most of my idols I identified with because I saw that fracture within their soul. You know, the reason I loved Kurt was because I also felt like when I heard his music, I felt in similar ways. I felt he was able to voice my feelings through music where other like pop music didn't. You know, so that aspect is important as well, isn't it? Worthy of exploration, is fascinating and part of that. Part of the romantic draw. Finish. I don't know what that means. I'm not a jock though, am I? Look. I'm down here. Now I need to know what you said. Now you need to go back for your tests and tell me what you got. I'm a true nerd. Fuck off. I got true nerd. I thought I was going to get, like, goth jock. Honestly, I thought I was going to get goth jock. I got goth nerd. Should have expected it, really. I'm wearing a Futurama t-shirt, so, you know, I mean, this does tie in, doesn't it? Look, I didn't realise. I did, that's subconscious. I thought I'm going to get dressed today and I'm going to do this stream. And I thought, what's my most gothic bit of clothing? And then I thought, no, fuck it. I'm not going to wear gothic clothing. I'm not going to dress up like a funny goth. You know, I've done my wig for the week. I'm not going to dress up like a funny goth. So I just chose this, you know, out of the clean washing pile. But God, I chose subconsciously nerd. Didn't I? Subconsciously, I think of myself as the nerd. I've answered the questions as a nerd. I got 30% goth, 60% nerd. Neil got 60% goth, 20% jock. That's what I thought I was going to get Neil. Neil's who I think I am. I think I'm Neil. Lucia got 19% goth, 55% nerd, placing her in true nerd. That's just like me. That's just like me. We're akin. We're all nerds. We're all goth nerds. Come on, everyone else who did it. I know it's later on now, but they posted it earlier in chat. I'm not scrolling back to the start of chat. Now's when I need to see it. Now's when I need to see it. Is it a black wig? You're dropping in late. What's if someone's a fitness nerd? This is just one of these test snips where you answer the questions and they tell you, and it's not really scientific. A jock nerd. Yeah, you'd have to be in the... How would that work? You're either preppy or you're gothic. They're the two gradients there. And you're either nerdy or you're jockey. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? What if you are a jock who likes, like, sci-fi? Do they preclude each other? Because, like, on the Starship Enterprise, they were quite competitive. They were quite competitive with all the Klingons. Klingons are competitive, aren't they? If anything. You're none of these. Well, everyone has to fall somewhere on this. I don't know why the colours are in this colour spectrum as well. It's a strange colour spectrum. I suppose it kind of makes sense. Pink. It's supposed to be cyan and magenta at the two corners, isn't it? Cyan and magenta. And then we're going the way they overlap. I can't believe I'm not in the green. I'm not even goth jock. I'm nerd. Stargazer last got true goth. True goth. You're one of these chuffers. Marilyn Mason jars. That's what I thought. I thought I could make true goth. I thought I could find, I thought I could find my way up there. I thought I was a bit more like this. I thought I was a bit more street goth. I thought I might be more jock goth. I can't believe I'm nerd goth. Not even goth. I didn't make it to goth. I'm nerd. Didn't quite make it to goth. At least I'm not prep nerd. Could have been prep nerd, couldn't I? Scroll down, it shows me more. Oh, look. I'm over here, true nerd into LARP. Right, I see what you mean now. LARP, nerd goth. Right. So if you want to know what a LARP is, yeah, live action role player. So if you're that nerdy and that gothic, then you actually dress up as someone from the Victorian times and pretend that you're called like Matilda Possingthwaite, and at night time you're also a vampire and you go out with your fake fangs in and like, I don't know how far you take that, but LARPing, live action roleplay, you're so nerdy and so gothic that you actually like pretend to live in the past. Matilda Postlethwaite. True nerd, highly knowledgeable and enthusiastic about particular academic or technical subjects. True. Nerds are sometimes seen as being more interested in academics, technology, or other nerdy pursuits than in popular culture or mainstream social. And that's interesting, because as a youth, I felt that aspect of being outside of popular culture, and I saw it as being like I reflected it in punk ethos. I had a Mohican, nose piercing, what was it, side nose, I had my lip pierced, my eyebrow pierced, I had my nipples pierced. I had, I was a bit of a punk. And then I was into rave music as well. I went through punk into rave. Like, definitely slightly outside of popular culture mainstream. But I didn't see it as nerdy. I saw it as being, like, antisocial or something. But I understand what they're saying here, that nerdy pursuits are in some way not quite mainstream. Although these days, nerdy is mainstream, isn't it? Like, look at what happened with the Harry Potter stuff. Just picking up what you're throwing down in chat there, Dover and Dolly's mum says I had a very painful operation that I think I understand. Sounds intense. Back to me. Nerds often spend a lot of time and energy pursuing their interests to the point where others can regard them as a bit obsessed with their hobbies. That's true. I mean, if you noticed how much time I spent streaming Allan the other day, some people said, oh, you're getting obsessed with Allan. I'm not. I just really enjoyed it. And I wanted to turn away from horrible murders and turn my attention to holding narcissistic grifters to account for a week. That was really fun. But I did see the comments. Some people said, oh, you've been obsessed. Been obsessed. Quite a few little streams there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got more. I've got a marathon planned. We've got more. But maybe I'll get a bit intense. Like Dover and Dolly's mum saying, yeah, that was intense. Intense is a good word. For you, for chat, for everything. Yeah. Super chuffer. We're on the road to 10k. I could share that on Facebook or share it on Twitter. I'm not going to do that because, like, you know, I don't know what would happen if I press that button. Don't trust it. But I might take a photograph of this on my screen grabber and share that, because that's a better way to share it, isn't it? That's me. Screen grabber it. And then that picture of Emma, I didn't even get around to telling you about this earlier, did I? Come all the way back around to this. So this picture of Emma, let's talk about this and then I'll tweet my tweet about how I did on the thing. So there's this thing, Baz had posted it, Oliver Britton retweeted it, but the thing I was most taken with was this. Because she looks like, it looks like Emma, it's Emma, but then it's Armchair Detective's glasses. I think that reefer's supposed to signify me. Great big chuffing reefer. Supposed to signify me. But what about the beard? Like, to me, the addition of the beard has made this into Frankie Boyle. And I can't get my head around it. I can't get my head around it. I'm not telling you exactly when my birthday is, but yeah, it's this week. Like, you know, people know. I know he's ignoring the comment, yes. Because what happens is on the internet, some people, I'm not pointing the fingers at anyone, Darkside Phil, but Darkside Phil is known, and we criticise him for it. He makes a big thing of his birthday, he has like a cake, and he does a big thing, and really, it's a big lever to try and get people to give him money, isn't it? Like, you know, oh, it's my birthday, oh, you know, can I have extra money, sort of thing, and I just want to stay well away from that. So instead, I'm just going to quietly celebrate with my family, like a normal person might, and then if I do choose to stream, and I've got free time that evening, I might do. But again, it won't be a special birthday stream or anything. Like, you know, you don't have to get me a present or anything. It just will be my birthday, like everyone else has one. One more trip around the sun, my friend. One more trip around the sun. So yeah, this picture, Emma with a beard. And I'm sure some people, like Armchair Detective, is going to be like, oh, I've got his date of birth. I can use that for my disgusting plan to try and make him feel uncomfortable. But like, we've all got a birthday, and everyone can have their date of birth found out if they need to. So, like, you know, I don't think it's that much of a thing. But like, if you are some incorrigible nutter that thinks you want to use my personal information against me, then what I would suggest is just toning that back, because it'll work out badly for you in the long run. Just tone that back and have a little think about where you're going with your life. So, this picture, Frankie Boyle for me. Frankie Boyle, isn't it? I am a Taurian. Yes, I am a Taurian. Frankie Boyle. I just don't know how it doesn't... How, like, they put everything together. Even the spliff works. I would have had him wearing with a pipe, Frankie Boyle, but even a spliff works. But how isn't it amazing that Emma looks just so much like Frankie Boyle when she's got a beard on? There's something about that. Something very special about how Emma looks just like Frankie Boyle when she's got a beard on. Doesn't she though? Like, am I just saying this, or are you having that in chat? We're going to celebrate no matter what I say. Back to your work meeting. What do you reckon? Oh, she shaved her hairline to be like Nicholas. Could be. What do you reckon though? Does this Frankie Boyle? Does this look like Frankie Boyle? If you're in America, you don't know who Frankie Boyle is. Frankie Boyle. Not Susan Boyle. Frankie Boyle, look. Here he is. I want a big picture of Frankie Boyle. Frankie Boyle, that's this one. With the beard. And then... It's basically the same person, isn't it? It's David Bellamy. There's another good shout. There's another good shout. There's a blast from the past. David Bellamy. I wonder if he's dead. Yes. Oh, I shouldn't laugh. It's just my turn of phrase. You know, I wonder if he's dead. Yes. Sometimes I guess right. He's a bit more Father Christmassy in all these pictures, isn't he? I didn't remember him that Father Christmassy. I remembered him having, like, colour to his beard when I was a kid. David Bellamy. Frankie Boyle. Emma White with a beard. It's not my birthday today, no. It's my birthday this week, though. And, like, this weekend we're doing the... like I said, we're doing the Coronation, so we're going to combine having a little family party on the Coronation day, and like tomorrow is the weekend, so people are going to come round and, you know, going to go for some little drinkies and stuff. You know, no biggie, no big.
It's
Don't have
raining
to get
again.
stressed.
I couldn't be happier.
Swish.
Curious Cat sent tippies. Have a great birthday, Wigman.
You see, now this is happening.
Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you, I appreciate it. But this is what I didn't like. I definitely tried to not talk about my birthday, so it didn't turn into me soliciting donations for my birthday. But thank you, I appreciate the donations for my birthday. Maybe I should just lean into it and just have a massive birthday shenaniganza. An extravaganza and shenanigans all at once. A shenaniganza. Oh my god. I've just invented a word. Shenaniganza. Let's just check it. Does it exist? Shenanigans. Yeah. Shenanigans. Shenaniganza. Shenaniganza. Right, let's see if it exists. Yes, somebody's had it as a Twitter. Professional digital artist. I want to hire them. Now, if they've thought that up, and I've thought that up, I want to hire them. Patron creating comics. And they look like good pieces of artwork. We need some emojis. Hello there, I'm Shenaniganza, or Shen. Shenaniganza. Shenanigan. Like hang on. What did I say? Shenanigans. Is it shenanigans or shenanigans? It's shenanigans, isn't it? Thank you for wishing me happy birthday in chat for whatever day it might possibly be. We all know exactly which day it is, don't we? We've worked it out, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Don't you think Shenaniganza is really good? Like, don't you think that's a really good name? Shenaniganza. I think it's a fucking good name. I'm very impressed. Shenaniganza. Commission info. Shenanimation. Shenanimation! Oh, I love it. Shenanimation. Support me on coffee. She got a coffee. She. I assume it's a she. Could be a male, couldn't it? Shen. Someone bought them a coffee 20 days ago. It's an interesting style. It's not exactly my favourite style, but, you know, I'm looking for a... The thing I like is that their brain has come up with the concept of shenanigans. You understand. You understand. It's not exactly, like, my favourite style, but what are we looking at here? Commission sheet, single character. Oh, what do I mean, character? Shenanimation on Patreon, Twitter... YouTube, character design, comics, fan art, patron rewards, commissions. I want little pictures for your members. Anyway, that's Shenanimation. Shenanigans. What was I saying? What were we even doing? What was even happening? I wanted to do something else, so I wanted to show you this. Let's get the Super Chuffer for you. Let's have Super Chuffer for you, and let's go to the studio, because I've got a new video I can drop from Super Chuffer for you. You had a little look at the Polo Grady's Orient. A few of you watched that. That was good. More subscribers over there is good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I want to drop this video that I've been holding on to for a bit. Looks like he's backed himself into a conga. Now, it's going to be hard to explain, so we're going to watch a bit of it together now at the end of this stream, because it's going to be hard to explain. But this video, I just want to give you a, before we get into this video, I just want to quickly give you a, you know, there are moments in life where comedy gold happens. No, I didn't create it. I'm a creative, I'm a creator, but I didn't create it. It just happened to me. Like, those moments have happened recently concerning that idiot. But the Genshin music makes you feel like you got the game open. Badass. I love it, Tommy. Not that many people know about the Genshin music, but it makes me feel like I've got the game open. And I like
Irish
it.
Charm sent tippies. Love you lots. XX. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
That's it. Me and Irish Charm, we can have a kind of strangely, we can, like, they can be mean to me and then they can give me money and then we can have sex, and it's like we both feel bad at the end of it. I don't know where the sex came into it. I brought that up, but sometimes just like life just hands you, you know, beautiful comedy poetry, and then it happens. So this is one of those moments. So I made it as a clip, and now it's up on the Super Chuffer channel, and it was something from Genshin Impact. So check this out. This was just brilliant.
In that case, before passing judgment, you should first become a better dancer than me.
We're going to start dancing. Did someone predict a conga? So I predicted a conga. Earlier on in that episode, while we were playing Genshin Impact, I talked about doing the conga because she's a dancer, this character, so I talked about the conga. Now check this out.
You tell them, Nilu. Looks like he's backed himself into a corner.
We're going to do the conga. Can you see what's coming? Looks like he's backed himself into a conga. Brilliant. I'll repeat it. Did someone predict a conga?
You tell them, Nilu. Looks like he's backed himself into a corner.
Not a corner, mate. And this guy's got a flower pot on his head, which I love. It looks like he's backed himself into a corner. Not a corner. Not a corner. A conga.
You tell them, Nilu. Looks like he's backed himself into a corner.
Brilliant. Do the conga. Looks like he's backed himself into a conga. Boom. looks like he's, you can't see the word corner properly, can you? It looks like he's backed himself into a conga. Let's all have a disco. Let's all have a disco. That looks like he's backed himself into a conga. I think I should write that down. Looks like he's backed himself into a conga. I think that's probably, you know, earlier I was reflecting, we've been on this stream for 2 years, coming up on January, and we're going to be taking another step up, you know, throughout January, and, you know, yeah, I was reflecting on these things. I think it looks like he's backed himself into a conga. Do you think it's already been on the internet? I think that's probably the best thing I've done up to this point, talking about art and all that, you know, talking about art and everything, you know, talking about all this sort of stuff. Yeah, a chat conga. How do you start a chat conga? We need emotes for a conga. There's my first emote. I'm going to put that on the list. I need a conga emote. Backed into a. If I just put backed into a conga, use the dancing people into a conga, not corner, a conga. Backed into a conga. No one's done that. No one's done that. Shh. Use these people. I'm the first one. I'm the first one on the internet. I'm the first one on the internet. That is, come on. I want my flowers. That's right now. Let's have this right. I'm a creative genius. We've just done all this thing about Genshin Impact. 4 hours in, Scott said, looks like you backed me into a conga. No one on the internet's done that before. Let's all have a disco. Let's all have a disco. La 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 la, hey, la 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 la, hey. And this is how things can end in most circumstances. Is someone can break out the conga pun. I go on to talk about it, so make sure you watch that episode.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Lottie sent tippies. Happy soon-to-be birthday from a fellow Taurian. Taurians are the best. Talented musical nerdy larpy arty farty, the list is endless, and patience enough to finish a plastic rice sushi model and a Lancaster bomber all in one day. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
Thank you. I don't know if we're the best, we're just like one of them, but like we are what we are, so you know, I'll take it as I'm very competitive. And looks like he's backed himself into a conga. He's now the latest video on Super Chuffer for you. So the whole thing is there. But let me tell you, like, at the end of you know, like, things can get out of hand sometimes, and then someone can like drop a little, like, oh, it looks like he's backed himself into a conga. I used to go to the football at Birmingham, and sometimes when things were going well, you would just see a conga break out at the football, and they'd all be dancing up and down and like you'd sometimes just join in. Like, you just see over there's the conga. Oh, things are going well. There's a conga going on over there. So backed you into a conga, and then like if you break out the conga and then, hey, let's all have a disco. Let's all have a disco. La 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 la, hey, la 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 la, hey. And you start doing that. People are obliged to join in. Like, you just dance past them. They grab hold. Let's all have a disco. Let's all have a disco. La la. And the funny thing about starting a conga is that if you really want to start it, you're not the first one at the front going, let's have a disco. You grab someone else from behind and you force them forward, don't you? Let's all have a disco. And they're at the front going, whoa, hang on. I didn't realise I was in a conga. All of a sudden I've been backed into a conga, and like everyone's doing the conga, it's happening, no one really can get out of it, so it's happening, and then so you're all doing the conga, and then what happens is the camera starts to pan back. Let's all have a disco. And the camera starts to pan back, and like then the credits start to roll, and let's all have a disco, hey, let's all have a disco, hey. And then the main characters from the film like appear like close up as part of the conga. Whoa. And then it says like Joey went on to become a maths genius, right? And then like the next character's like, you know, doing something different, maybe banging a conga drum while the conga goes past and they're banging a conga drum. Anyway, look, they're doing something, and then freeze frame on them, like, you know, Nancy learned to read, you know, that sort of stuff. That's how it goes at the end of a. Lottie says there's always plenty of room at a blues match for a conga. Ha 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 ha. At least there's enough people to make a line. Why is the colour not changing? Come on and do the conga. It's conga 2 for sure. Why is it not doing the colour? Come on and do the conga.
I did it red.
Bad Gambler said to
sure.
Me Lottie are organising a meet greet down in the southwest. We have nominated you at Super Chuffer as the designated driver. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
This is going well. This is definitely going well. My stream, 4 hours in, absolutely, you know, someone just tunes in at this moment. Things are going well. They think, oh, this is a Genshin Impact stream. I'll have a little look at this. They come here and they see this. Things are going well. They'll probably, if anything, you know, someone that, you know, an old friend from the past tunes in. Oh, there's Scott on the internet. What's he doing on the internet? Oh, he's doing well. Things are going well for him. He backed me into a conga. We'll keep that. We'll keep that. That's mine now. I own that. I own that. That's my meme. Back me into a conga. Do the conga in chat. Get your conga in chat. Get your conga in chat, because we've had a good episode today. I hope this has just been fun. You know, I hope that you've had a good time. I hope that you've had a good time, because that's what we're here for. Tomorrow, as I say, no guarantee that I'll be on this main stream. I am going to try and get on late streams to do Genshin Impact. Might even be on a bit later. I've got to have a chat with someone on a international video call, but might be on a bit later. But yeah, and then over the weekend, can't guarantee exactly what, but usually Genshin Impact on Twitch. And we've got other games that we're going to be looking into before Zelda comes out. And when Zelda comes out, boom, we're going to be playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. That's going to be happening. But I'll still be on the main channel, and I've got the Allan Marathon by popular request on Battery Exhausted. The Allan Marathon at some juncture in the next couple of days or weeks. Or week or so, or whatever, you know, whatever. Got a little thing, got a little Allan Marathon that I want to do. So, Mimps, Chuffragettes, thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for helping it grow. Thank you for being able to behave yourself. Thank you to Irish Charm for their super chats, their unexpected change of heart. John Devan, any more Nicola Bully stuff? I have been specifically requested to cover the police response. So yes, the police response will be covered. As we'll do it as a live. We'll look at the 2 press conferences and some of the boots on the ground police response. We'll talk about it, and then there's probably another follow up to that as well, which would be the timeline. I mean, the timeline has been discussed and talked about by other people, and I don't even personally believe that we can trust the timeline. Given, like, doesn't matter who's giving it to us. None of those resources that have been giving the timeline seem to have it tied down, use it to turn a phrase, have it tied down exactly. So I remember what I heard in the early days. I remember when people said the dog was on the road, and I remember when people said this and that, and then things have filtered and changed, and it's become what it's become. I don't know how much I can take from the timeline, but I suppose somebody will request it at some point. But yeah, the police response is important. I'll be interested if anything happens before the inquest. I don't think it will, but I believe most of the sleuthing and digging that people have been doing has uncovered most of the interesting aspects that we've found. And we all know what I think about, who I think about, and stuff like that. I don't know how much more I can push that, and I don't know how much more I'd like to try and wring. Like, there becomes a point where I'm trying to wring content out of somebody's tragic and gruesome death, and that for me does not feel quite right. I'm happy to talk. Me and Steve discussed this. Historical cases, like when we're looking at this podcast here, look, thus we've been talking about serial killers. So the historical cases, when enough time has passed, it seems like in a way you can discuss it with a bit more abandon. But when things are so raw and the people that are involved are going to grow up in the wake of this, I am aware that anyone could watch my videos, including Nicola's family. So there is a limit to how far I want to push that, even if I'm trying to push it in terms of let's make sure that we hold her murderers to account.
Raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Swish, and then
Lucia
flourish.
Thomas sent tippies. Happy early birthday, Super Chuffer. Thanks for the cool quiz stream today. Super Chuffer owes 15 hugs.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I do. As I say, I'm not going to do anything big this birthday, but I'm just going to be really grateful because the couple of years we've had, the few years we've had, I'm just going to be really grateful for the people being around me, and the talked about luxury today in the questions, didn't we, in the quiz? I'm grateful for the abject luxury I live in, that I don't live in Syria or Ukraine or somewhere, that is being bombed and stuff like that. I'm so lucky in loads of ways, so I'm just going to make sure I feel lucky, and I do, and thank you for the tippies. But yeah, I mean, there are lots of people who've got different opinions on this true crime stuff as well. It's just for me. This isn't like me pointing fingers and saying they're bad because they're doing this. Like, everyone's got their own thoughts and feelings, but some of them are a bit more tacky than others. I'll say that, obviously. But my feeling for me is what I want to create on my content. And so ask me about Nicola Bully case, and I'll tell you the truth, and that's my truth. So yes, there will be more content, and certainly after the inquest as well. The inquest itself, I'm going to have to pick apart with a fine-tooth comb, and I'm going to have questions more than answers, I believe, at the end of that. And I believe it will be one of those Madeleine McCann things that will never quite go away. Depends on how the police handle it, but there will be a pivot point then, won't there? Because we will know certain things, we will have certain things that come out into the open, and whether the police carry on with it or not, we'll find out then, won't we? But yeah, put the wig on Battery Exhausted after. No, tonight I don't know if I've got the time to do that, but because what I want to do on Battery Exhausted is this marathon thing. I think we're good. I think we're good that we've done this. If you want to watch more of my content, there is more of my content available, and I might go on Genshin Impact because I need to put in a solid Genshin Impact stream before. Like, I might miss one this weekend, so I might go on Genshin Impact in an hour. Actually, what am I saying? I've got a phone call to make, an international phone call with a friend. So I've got to do that. But yeah, I totally appreciate. Can we have a rap? What's the vibe? The vibe isn't quite like me aggressively chaffing a rap at you, is it? No. I'll tell you what we can have. We can play lounge goth. But you'll hate it. Everyone will hate it. Not this one. Wait, it's this one. This is my song, my lounge lounge goth song. I invented a form of music called lounge goth. I thought, what would goths listen to when they're just in the foyer of a hotel, or like, you know, when you're just chilling, laid back? Like, I don't want to listen to Cradle of Filth and everyone's screaming at me. Like, can I invent a sort of more gothy, more, can I create? So I did this. And what it is it's a piece of music sung in reverse. Like, obviously I've sung it forwards and then I've reversed it and put, like, you know, reverb on it and shit. It's got a guitar in it. And so I've made it sound like a sort of a choral. Like, I put the church visual, you know, goth. Can't see
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
What Ian sent tippies. Scotty, you are such a sweet and genuine guy. Wishing you a very happy birthday with your family and friends.
Thank you.
Red heart hash. Super Chuffer owes 20 hugs.
20 hugs. Thank you. There's the wig by popular demand. Very goth. Just reminded me of the Mighty Boosh joke where they were trying to impress the goths, and Howard Moon says, went to a graveyard and I saw a gravestone. I took a shit on it. There you go, that was some lounge goth. How'd you like lounge goth? And I'll play you an actual song as well to play us out. But that's it now. Time to say thank you. Time to say thank you very much to everyone in chat. Thank you to each other. Say your thank yous to each other. T-minus when the song ends.
There's something wrong. It's raining again.
Irish Charm sent tippies. XX, Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
So long I only see your face in memories. Search and destroy. Living in this way. Is a ticket to the grave. I only see you now on Sundays. Search and destroy.
Julie Bryan sent tippies. Have a fab birthday, X. Super Chuffer owes 5 hugs.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie.
Their coffins aren't enough to make you stop. Search and destroy.
Hey, Nigel.
Living in this town. Might not be around so much, but you should always know I'm watching you. Know there's something wrong. You've been gone so long, I only see your face in memories. Search and destroy.
Big ups. Don't feel sad. Don't feel sad. You know, Don't feel sad. I know that got the dog in the video, but don't feel sad. We've had a really good one today. I don't want to drag you down into tonight feeling sad now. We're feeling positive. We're feeling upbeat. We're going to have a coronation in the UK. Let's finish having a look at this. Let's have a quick look at some coronation. Coronation. Do me a coronation. Well, they've got their own website for the coronation, look. HM Government, His Majesty's Government, https coronation.gov.uk. About the coronation, get involved, toolkit and events. A toolkit? A maze. Can you solve the coronation maze? You can fuck off, that's ridiculous. Who's done this? Honestly, this is where the money goes. Like, can you believe this? That's what, for kids, yeah? Kids love a maze like that, don't they? They're really into that these days. A paper maze. Let's print those out on our home computers and put them out on the tables. So there'll be paper rubbish that no one wants, and it will cost us money to print and ink. And like these days, kids are on the phone. Like what? I honestly, this sort of stuff really. Do you know why it annoys me? Is because it's not up to scratch for today's market, and whoever's got paid to put this bit together. Like, you can imagine they've got a fair whack of a budget to put shit like this together, haven't they? Oh, I'll do a page for the kids and they can download them and colour in a crown. Like, somebody might take advantage of that offer. But, in the main, on Coronation Day, these days, this modern 2023, colouring in emblems, kids are not going to be that interested in... Can you imagine the money that's gone in? Sorry, I said we're going to end on something positive. The money that's gone into this, though. Do you know what I mean? That's someone's job, isn't it? And they've, gone to work, or they've probably worked from home remotely, and they've like turned this in, and they've probably got like a few £1,000 for doing my job, and like it's not worth the. At least it's not printed literally on anything. There they are. There he is. There's the king. God save the king. And that one. She gets a free pass now. Doesn't she? Everyone hates Meghan. She must fucking... Out of all the royals, she must fucking love Meghan. Mustn't she? She must fucking love her. I mean, God save the king. Everything I said about tradition earlier, I'm going to be like, up for this. Yeah, God save the king. Pageantry, Britain. It's our tradition and history, and it is what it is. And some of us get born in wherever we get born, and one or two lucky people get born in their situation and get to live the life of Riley. But... I don't feel like it's like someone won the lottery. I don't feel bitter they won the lottery just because I don't have the money. But they also have to live a life of like you don't get to do exactly what you want all the time. Like you can't just stay home and play on your Xbox in your underwear. Like you just can't do that. You've got to go and do your appointments and shit, haven't you? Like, do you know what I mean? So I don't know, but I'm gonna be like, well, we'll be watching it at least. We're gonna have a little family get together and watch it. So. And it's a life event, isn't it? Like, my nan, God bless her, who's not with us anymore, she remembered the Queen's coronation. That's something she used to talk about. It's a life event, isn't it? So, we all like go through this special day together in a way, and if you pay a bit of attention and see what's going on, and you'll remember it in years to come, won't you? So. Will we be pledging allegiance? I don't think we do pledge allegiance, do we? I pledge allegiance to God and to the Queen, to keep the Cubs. I promised to keep the Cub Scout law. I promised to keep the Cub Scout law to God and to the Queen. That's who I promised it to. So maybe I need to reaffirm my Cub Scout. What is it? I promised to do my best, to do my duty to God and to the Queen, and to keep the Cub Scout law. That's what it was. I promised to do my best, to do my duty to God and to the Queen, and to keep the Cub Scout law. Cub Scout promise. What is it? Is it promise? Is it a promise or is it an allegiance? The Scout promise. It's the promise. It's like almost like now I'm thinking about it. It's almost a bit like being in a religion. Baden-Powell did probably have some ideas about it, didn't he? The Cub Scout promise. I promise I'll do my best to uphold our Scout values. No, I never said that. I promise I'll do my best to do my duty to God and to the King, to help other people and to keep the Cub Scout law. That was it, to help other people. I can remember this being like when I was little and I was in the Scouts and I had to learn it, and then we were getting our induction and it was a big day and everyone was laughing, or my family were laughing at Arcala's bum, because when Arcala went to attention, he had a little tight bum and they were all laughing at his bum. I didn't know what they were laughing at, they were all laughing, and we had to say this. I remember I had to learn it, you know, to help other people. Oh look, these are ones if you're Buddhist. I promise that I'll do my best to seek refuge in Triple Gem. If you're Buddhist, the Buddhist Scouts. I didn't know they had Buddhist Scouts. I didn't know Hinduism came into it. And, like, fair enough, you know, Jewish Scouts, Muslim Scouts. I thought Scouts was its own thing. I know that we said to God and to the King. I didn't realise that was because we were a Christian Scout group. But maybe I was in a Christian Scout group and I didn't realise. I would have thought Scouts could be overarching and you don't need to bring Buddhism and Hinduism and everything into it. Like, you can just be Scouts. But... Like, no offence, like, if you are a Buddhist or a Jew, like, you know, I'm saying you can still be in Scouts, so I don't need to worry about what religion and stuff, like, you know, I think that I've come at that from a good angle. But, you know, if you're cross because you want to be in the Jewish Scouts, then you can still be in the Jewish Scouts if you want, I suppose. Or do your Jewish Scout promise. I think we should just have an overall one. Anyway. I did that, my little Scout promise, you know, got my little badges. I was a Scouts. Brownies, you did brownies. These days, I suppose, I bet it's mixed, but it was segregated by gender when I was a kid, yeah. My sister did brownies. I think my sister got kicked out of brownies, actually. She was naughty. So, yeah, I'll be there with my Cub Scout promise. You know, done my allegiance, do my allegiance to God and to the Queen. Dover and Dolly's mum, I don't think we do have a Jewish Scouts. I think it's just that if you are a Scout and you want to do a Jewish promise instead of... Because I said to God and to the Queen, so they've just adapted it for, you know, the same God. Just a Christian God is the same God as the Jewish God, isn't it? It's just we have different ideas about whether Jesus was... Anyway, I think it's just adapting the promise. I don't think they actually have a Jewish Scouts, but I was just riffing on the concept. How have we got into this? We're supposed to be Goths today. Do you think they'll have any Goths at the I'm going to just type this in and find out. Goths Coronation. Coronation Street. Rosie becomes a Goth. No. Goth storyline in Coronation Street. I don't remember this. Rosie Webster. Do you remember her? She was a right one. You lot, wasn't she? She was a right one. Or was she? Was she a right one? It's not very good quality. It'll get me done for copyright, but Rosie Webster's become a Goth. Unbelievable. There she is. She's a Goth. That's the storyline. Remember that. No, I don't want Coronation Street. I want the King's Coronation and Goths. I just could do everything. You know, everything is. You know, for the King's Coronation, you've got all sorts of stuff now, haven't you? Like, you can go out and buy, like, a coronation hat. Like, let me put King's Coronation. Look, watch this. King's Coronation. If I put that, and then I just put shopping, for example, look, I can get beer for the coronation. It's just the same beer as it was before the King was getting coronated with a sticker on it. This is official coronation. What is it, like a whiskey? You know, keep that forever. Except you don't age whiskey in bottles, you age it in barrels. So there's a teddy bear from Stife. So if you do have 250 quid you want to throw down the toilet, you could get yourself a really expensive teddy bear. That the only connection to the royal coronation is they put a cape on it and sewn royal coronation on its foot. Otherwise, it's just a normal teddy bear. It's grey. Limited edition. We've sewn Charles on its foot. That seems like a cash grab. 250 quid. You know, with the tippies, I could order that. Would you like me to order this with your tippies, or would you see it as a flagrant misuse of funds? It hasn't even got a fucking crown. It hasn't even got a like, for 250 quid, you would think it'd have a gold crown. No wonder Stife, I mean, Stife have been going a long time, but no wonder they got outdone by the Beanie Babies in the early 80s and 90s. Like, what's going on here? The gold fastening. Little detail there on the cape. Is it a real mink cape? Is that what you're spending the money for? Like, what's going on here? I don't want a real mink cape. I'm vegan. King Charles III. Rubbish. How dare you? Gonna make me do my Greta Thunberg again. How dare you? You've stolen our futures. The Coronation 50p for £11. You've got to be off your bonk if you want to spend £11 for 50p. But, you know, maybe in 100 years' time, they're like Antiques Roadshow. Oh, this is a Coronation 50p. I'll give you £100 for that. Ooh. But £11 for 50p, you're just like, you can see who's making the money on that deal, can't you? You get 50p and they get £11. So you can see who's making the money on that deal, can't you? I should be selling coins. If people are going to pay £11 for... Everything's available for sale now with the Coronation, isn't it? Yeah? Look, pencils. Because... Why? Because why? What's this? How? Sign up. I don't want your newsletter about your pencils. I'll remember the Coronation forever with my handy pencils, which I'll use for about, 6 months and then they're done. So I'm glad I got them for an exorbitantly large price compared to how much I would normally buy a pencil. Is there anything you can't add the word Coronation to? And look, tote bag. That's an easy one, isn't it? Have you got your Coronation tote bag? No, I don't need a new tote bag. And if I did, the Coronation wouldn't be a reason to make me spend an extra £3 on it. Who are buying the tote? Like, honestly, if there's anyone in chat that thinks those tote bags are great and I'm wrong, then sorry. I'm sorry. But this seems like a bit excessive, doesn't it, all this stuff? Does it all go to the royal family, or are these just like independents who are just sticking the sticker on anything? A medal with official logo. This has got to be look, trophiesandmedals.com. You can have a hairdressing one. Hang on. Show me the hairdressing one again. Where was that? I just saw it and it's gone. Medals. Oh, what was it? Trophies. Hairdressing trophy. Yes. Maybe I should buy myself a hairdressing trophy. I've got a cabinet full of little things like this. These little wood plaque things from all the fencing competitions that I did. I've got a couple of cups and a few gold medals and a few silvers and a few bronzes and loads of little wooden plaques and bits and pieces. And a lovely, from the Welsh Open one year, a lovely miner's lamp. But you can just buy yourself a hairdressing cup. And they all look like the other cups anyway. There's nothing hairdressing about them. So this company's struggling and they're just going to sell these for £1.50. If they can flog them, they'll flog them. Have they got the official rights? It looks a bit cheap, doesn't it, this medal? I'm like, why do you need a medal? Like, who's winning a medal because the king got coronated? Mary Lee says she got the king's coin. When I was at school, how dare you? When I was at school once, we got a commemorative coin for some bullshit. And all these years later, they're not worth anything. Might as well go in the bin. I just can't see the orders flooding in for these. I don't know why, whose idea it was. We've got to get it up on the website. Everyone else has got a coronation item. What do? We make medals and trophies. Well, let's make a coronation medal then, I suppose. Can't I have the day off, Jeff? No, you're in doing the coronation medal now. Things aren't going so well. I don't know why I got on here and why I'm moaning about this, but a t-shirt, look, a t-shirt, that's acceptable because it remembers the event. I could wear it on stream, stuff like that. You'd wear it. It's a piece of clothes you can wear. So at least you get some use out of it. It's £20, which is a lot of money. And I don't know who Lion Legion are and why they're profiting from it, but like a t-shirt, acceptable. Printed in UK. Printed in the UK. Veteran owned. What? I don't want someone else to own my t-shirt. I'd like it to be new. Lion Legion, always good quality. We long live the king. Oh, they enjoy it. Like, is this just playing on people's nationalism? British. Best one, king, mate. And is it just some company that are just banging out t-shirts? King Charles Coronation t-shirt. Oh, look. Get it printed on any item you fucking like. We'll sell it, yeah. That one's got a picture of him at least. I quite like that. Bit quite classy, that. quite classy. It's a t-shirt. God save that if you get the impression there. Get that out. This one's got James Bond on it. Perhaps James Bond's popular. I like this in the blue because he wears the blue, doesn't he? Get your nan a t-shirt. Or a mug for your nan, probably. I mean, what merchandising opportunity, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it? I could imagine way back, like when Elizabeth I was coronated, there'd have been people selling things in the street, wouldn't there? Like, it's weird, isn't it? Tea towels are popular, aren't they? Coronation tea towels, for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing as a nation. We're going to be celebrating in our history and tradition, even though it can be left in the bin if you need it to be. But no, it's good fun. You know, it's good fun. We're going to have a laugh. We're going to watch it go down. The king will be coronated. There'll be a concert on the telly with, like, you know, all the great pop icons of our era doing a bit of a sing-song. And we'll all get together and say, you know, in years to come, do you remember when the king was coronated? We were there, I suppose, in the coming years that we have. So now I'm making it seem even more dour. Now I'm making it even seem more dour. Is there not anything here that I'd like to buy? Like, as a you know, grown consumer, I'm a conditioned consumer. There should be at least something I want to buy. All this just looks like tat to me. Did you see anything you liked in the teacup? That's probably quite nice, isn't it? It's 40 fucking quid. The teddy bear was £300. This is 40 quid for a teacup. You get one. It's from Harrods. So this is the way to go, isn't it? The Harrods teacup. That's probably the way to go. I know it's quite expensive, £40, but a brand like Harrods, keep it in the box. There's your Coronation teacup. Oh, it's from Harrods. You know, at least you've got that. It's better than, like, you know, the Wedgwood. Oh, Wedgwood. Oh, that's not a Coronation. Is that a Coronation one? No, it's just some Wedgwood. Wedgwood Jasper Conran. That looks nice. If I had to buy posh cups, that's what I'd buy. There's another. This is a mug, though, that you can actually drink out of. I suppose.
It's raining again. I couldn't be happier.
Louise McGill sent tippies. We could make balloons shaped like King Charlie's sausage fingers. Super Chuffer owes 3 hugs.
The king doesn't have ham hands, does he? London since 1849, Harrods. So that's just a Harrods mug. I thought it was a king's mug. It's not. Maybe Harrods is not the way to go. Maybe that. Actually, doesn't it seem weird that Dodi Fayed's father should be cashing in on the coronation of... That's Queen Elizabeth II anyway. I'm getting ripped off here. No wonder. What was I supposed to be looking at? Stop giving me the advert. This one, King Charles III, Harrods. Isn't it a bit weird that Harrods are doing coronation regalia? Isn't it a bit weird after all that, like Dodi Fayed and the Queen of Hearts? Isn't it a bit weird that after Diana and all that Harrods are doing coronation cups? Isn't it? It's a bit weird. So yeah, I've gone on half an hour too long now. I've driven this into the ground where it didn't belong. Shouldn't have done that. If you're stuck around for this last half hour, I have a tendency to do this. I was supposed to say, you be good, my little podcast, a long time ago. Make sure you get onto the other channels that are on here. So, you're watching Super Chuffer. Make sure you check out Super Chuffer for you. Give it a subscription if you think it's worth it. If you want to see the little cheeky videos. If you want to see a little cheeky video. And on Battery Exhausted, we're going to be doing some of that Allan marathon coming up soon. You know it, I know it. It's been brewing. And, Fire doesn't own Harrods anymore. Okay, yeah, but it still has a weird connotation, doesn't it? It still made me think. So. Yeah, make sure you check all that. You be good, my little puckos. I'll see you back anon. And remember, if you can't be good, you're naughty.